There we go, right, we are live. Do you want to take it away, Tom, with the intro?
I sure will. Hey all, and welcome back to HFC All-Stars. Today is day 5, and we're kicking things off with a randomizer run of Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. Volk, you're the runner for this, so why don't you go ahead and explain what we're doing, and also why you decided to bring Castlevania SOTM into the marathon, and in a randomized format.
Well, obviously Symphony of the Night is one of my absolute favourite games of all time, and I was also aware that I did this fairly recently for the HFC Sony font. So I wanted to bring this game back, but I wanted to do so with a bit of a twist. So, last year or so, I discovered that there was a randomizer made from this, from a certain speedrunner by the name of Dragon Blitz, and he introduced me to the randomizer and all of its wonderful, wonderful things. And I started watching through his YouTube videos. I'd occasionally catch streams wherever I can. I thought, if we did an All-Stars marathon, I could totally throw this in with the randomizer. So I gave it a go myself and see how it all works. And pretty much figured out it all works perfectly. So I posited it for the font, and here we are, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with the randomizer format. I've watched KZ Excellent do a fair few KH2 Final Mix randomizers. We actually have one of our own coming up later in the marathon by Axel Ryman. We're also doing an Ocarina of Time randomizer. I'm going to be the co-comp for that one, actually.
Hey, you're going to get in on all the co-comps of the randomizers. Alright, this is the only cutscene I'm not going to skip because it's legendary.
I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
I wonder if this scene is going to show up in the upcoming Richter-focused Castlevania anime.
You know what? Part of me hopes so, but also part of me hopes that they stick with the whole Dracula and Lisa story is pretty much done. You know, they came back, they got a second chance at life, and you know, they're just living their best lives. I'd rather they keep that, because having happy endings in any media these days, like proper true happy endings, is incredibly rare these days. And you know, I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah, especially for Dracula, which is a bit odd, but you know, I really enjoyed season 4 of the what was it, the Trevor arc?
Yeah. Alright, throw out another Hydra Storm, throw the bottles out there. Chuck the other ones to one side, and there we go. Nice, easy epilogue.
Yeah.
No, I'm trapped in a postcard.
Oh, Jesus, the postcard's gone.
Alright, so that is the only certainty we're going to get for the entirety of the run. Obviously, that whole epilogue bit is entirely set in stone. So from this point on, we have no idea what the fuck we're going in for. Like, the layout of the castle and everything like that is absolutely, like, spot-on match. Like, all the creatures in there, where the bosses are located, but everything else is going to be just a complete crapshoot. So the weapons we grab, what their stats are, the relics that we find, and in what order we find them, all of that is going to be randomized, and the music's also included. So even our starting loadout, where you normally get like your super overpowered like Alucard items or what have you, that's all been randomized as well. Which means at some point, if we find the Alucard items, we're going to get a hold of these. So in this case, we got like just a dumbass leather shield, but we've also got this sword here, which I think is, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it has one of the most badass special attacks out there in my opinion. Oh, so good. Shame we're going to lose it in a second. But that's the nature of it. So, we don't know exactly what we're going to be in for here. We could get a broken weapon right in like the first 2 minutes. Or we could be here for like 20 minutes still using our fists to do the talking. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But, meanwhile, we've got to speak to Death, who will steal all our shit. Because he's a bastard like that.
Sorry, you didn't pay the rental fees. I'm going to have to take them back.
I still love the fact that Death in the Netflix series just talks like an absolute shit poster. It's great.
You fucking cunt, Trevor.
It's so good. Vardy was just like the perfect prick, in my opinion. He plays into that role so well. And then it turns out he's deaf, and it's just like, okay, this is hilarious.
Oh, spoilers for this anime that's been out for a year or two now.
There we go. Alright, so we got a leather shield, which isn't a leather shield. And we also got what looks like an accessory, but it's a sellable ring. But it says sparkling ring, so there's a good chance that's a diamond. So if we get into the shop earlier, we might be able to grab a load of stuff. So first relic is Echo Bat, which our handy dandy tracker on the stream should be keeping track of. So any relics we find will be listed on there, and we'll know what we've got and when, and sort of gives us an idea of where we can progress and when we can progress.
Now, in the KH2 Final Mix randomizer, you have to find these things called proofs in order to be able to fight the final boss. Is there any such requirement here?
Yes, actually. So normally to defeat the final boss, you need to go into the inverted castle. And in the inverted castle, you need to find 5 relics. So like the Heart of Vlad, the Rib of Vlad, etc, etc. And obviously as well, to even get to the inverted castle, you need the Holy Glasses, which will let you see the orb, which is controlling Richter via the Dark Priest shaft. So there are set items we need to find in order to advance the plot first and foremost, but then also get into the inverted castle. So over the course, we're going to look for these relics, and because we are in a randomizer, the Vlad pieces that we normally would find exclusively in the inverted castle will instead occasionally be found right here in the regular castle. So we're in a situation where we'll find that the relics are spread out all across both the regular and the inverted castle, so it's going to be a bit of an adventure to find everything. But usually, as long as you follow like what I would qualify as like a normal route, you should be able to find the majority of what you need. Like, there's only a few paths that are like usually optional in the main game, and you may well find that those optional paths suddenly become mandatory.
Okay, first time chatter, Blitzkrager, or Blitzrager, asks, are monster drops randomized?
Yes, they are. So, those who know Soten, when you get your item stolen, will know that the first 2 skeletons always drop like their first item, which we call like their basic drop. And then obviously they have a rare drop as well on top of that. So, usually those first 2 drops will be randomized as well, and that applies to all the monster drops as well. So we could find all sorts of random nonsense potentially just out of the blue, which could break a run straight over its leg, or it could just be loads of worthless scrap still. And all the weapon locations where you'd normally find, like, set drops in across the map, those will all be randomized as well. So we could find anything from anywhere. And we got the first boss now, and we are still using pretty much only our fists, so we're going to want to be careful here. So let's see here. Can I do Tetra Spirits from here? Yeah, motions for those are always a bit tricky. Yeah, there we go. One down. Oi, get down here.
Hey, I'm just enjoying the power of fly, alright?
But I want to beat him up. Thankfully, I know this game quite well, so even if I have absolutely nothing at my disposal, like the first boss goes down pretty easily. Another thing that the experienced in Soten might also notice is that we don't have weapon drops from the candles, and that's because as part of the presets that we're using, we have something called Turkey Mode, which means we can't cheese fights with like bad RNG just by knowing where all the sub-weapons are and then just owning the ever-living shit out of everything with those.
Right.
So we pretty much have to use our wits and our relics and our weapons that we pick up. Like, we get no sort of safety nets or anything like that if we run into a bit of bad luck.
I'm just going to share a little bit here. The organisation we're raising money for is Child's Play. We've supported this charity many times before. They use donations to provide kids staying in the hospital long term with toys and games to help ease their stay. If you've ever been in a hospital, no offence to anyone working there, but it is inherently a lonely and oftentimes miserable experience, regardless of the quality of care that you're given, and especially so for children, because time passes so much slower when you're a child, as I'm sure you can remember. So anything to distract from that just really helps, and that's what Child's Play helps with. So there is a big old donate button below the stream window. If you want to help, we do have goals set up. For every $1,000 we raise, we will add on a new day and new playthroughs to the end of HFC All-Stars. So far, you've unlocked 2 days worth of incentive games. The first day will feature Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and Fez, and the second day will feature Chrono Trigger. The next goal is $3,000, and that will unlock Kana Bridge of Spirits, which I'll be playing.
Hey! So we got a question in the chat saying that if it means the caves will be harder because the artifacts that lets you be immune to water will be, for instance, in the inverted castle. Yes, that can happen depending on the presets that you use. There are some presets you can use that sort of tries to place them in such a way that, you know, you won't be gate-kept, but of course, if you're going for like something like sort of pro-level speedrun sort of tier, like there are ways to like navigate that without needing a relic like that, but of course, not everyone's like that, so we're going for the safe preset, just, you know, have something that's like nice and casual, while at the same time still showing off what the randomiser's all about. As I punch the shit out of zombies, which is not something I'm used to, I must admit. I'm usually used to having a weapon by this stage.
Yeah, I can imagine. I actually have played Symphony of the Night on stream before. That was my first time run. It actually didn't go too badly. There was like maybe a little bit of grinding for a really good weapon towards the end. Yes, yes. I died a few times, but that was about it, really.
No, I had a good glimpse of that. You did actually pretty good for the very first time going for it.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, before that, I'd kind of only played the classic Castlevanias, like 1 and 3 and 4. I've dodged 2 for obvious reasons. But I have since played the ones on the more recent GBA collection, you know, Circle of the Moon, I think Aria of Sorrow, and then there was another one. I don't think it's Portrait of Ruin, I'm not entirely sure.
It wasn't the sequel to Aria, was it? Dawn of Sorrow?
Let me have a look here.
Because there's 2 with Soma, Aria and Dawn. Then you got Portrait of Ruin, and then you got Order of Ecclesia.
Let's have a look here. The Advanced Collection, which is a pretty good series of games. Because not only do you get the versions that you're probably familiar with, you also have the the overseas versions, shall I say.
It's a decent collection, and it's about time that we had something that sort of made the GBA games a lot more accessible. Ooh, the Nose Devil card. Alright, so we've got an early familiar that we can make use of here, so let's go ahead and summon the Nose Demon.
Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, and you also get Castlevania Dracula X.
Marvelous. Alright, so we're still lacking a weapon, but a familiar will probably come in handy for a couple of the bosses that come up later on, so I'm still hoping by then we'll actually have a weapon we can use, but, you know, it's just all part of the randomizer. So when you were going through this game for the first time yourself, like, it's always a thing where going through a game like this for the first time, like, you obviously don't know, like, some of the things that, like, make the game, like, really potentially easy or anything like that, and you're just all set free to explore the castle and everything like that. So, did that sort of match up with your first experience playing the game personally?
Yeah, I just kind of took things as they came, really.
Fair enough. Marvelous.
Yes, indeed. I know, like, a lot of stuff just based on pop culture osmosis. That helped a little bit getting through stuff.
Fairly good. Because there's always a thing, like, going through a game the first time, like, a lot of the stuff that you think, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that sort of break the game over its head, but obviously you don't know that going in for the first time, so you're just sort of free to explore things as intended and unlock all those secrets as you go along.
Okay, but I feel the need to say it's you break it over the knee, not the leg, not the head.
You know me by now, I say things wrong all the time.
I know, like confusing prologues and epilogues.
Yep. It's just the nature of who I am. Stupid.
It's no, it's my charm, really.
Sure, if you want to call it that, I'll go with it. Just to save some face.
Fucking haunted tables.
Come on, one of these guys have got to drop me something I can actually start using to actually kill some of these guys with, because it's starting to get absurd. My fists are starting to bleed. But no, I've had runs of this before where I find like a transformation form straight away, or you get like a really, really badass weapon right from the start, and it trivializes this whole beginning portion, and then like later on you'll discover, wait, I don't actually have any way to progress right now.
Yeah.
Right, how the hell am I gonna get past this guy? Aha, there we go. Yeah, because obviously without a decent weapon, you actually get to see the flowers in their second phase for like the first time in forever.
Yeah, the first time ever recorded.
Yep. Most people have a weapon at this point, so even they don't get to see it.
Oh yeah, guys, we are also running a marathon-wide raffle for a Steam code of Sonic Frontiers. For every $5 donation, you get 1 entry there, so donate $25, you get 5 entries, and then it goes into a big old thing at the end, and we randomly select a winner.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Right, so we're coming up towards the second boss now, and this will be where we get access to like the long library and things like that, and seeing as we've got a potential diamond tier sellable in our possession, this might be where we can actually start making this run our bitch, so to speak.
Ah.
Now, I have no idea why I actually came down here. I'm pretty sure I can't take on a Guardian with my bare hands, but hold on. Maybe if I Tetra Spirits, I might be able to. Maybe, maybe, maybe. No. But I do have one more in the tank. Let's try again. Hey, there we go. Alright, so we might actually be able to get the goodies in here after all. So, break down the door, grab the random life apple, then we wait here for a few seconds, and then we get automatically put down to a secret area. While intense boss music plays in the background.
I just noticed the fucking familiar you have has, like, Luigi's face.
Yeah, this is the Nose Demon, which was a Japan exclusive for a long time. And obviously it came in like, the remastered versions of Soten that arrived before it. So we finally actually have a sword now. But yeah, it's basically the regular demon, except obviously it's slightly different. I'm not sure if it has like different skills or if it's slightly more powerful, but I think it's mostly aesthetics. There we go, we now have a sword, the stone sword, which can occasionally petrify enemies, apparently, but whether the randomizer decides that's all nonsense, I do not know. But I'll enjoy finding out. Right, let's get our moonwalk game on. And make our way to Doppelganger. On the way to the save point, of course, because can't be too careful, especially in a marathon setting.
Of course, of course.
Boom. There we go. Right. Let's see if I can actually remember how to fight Doppelganger proper, or if this will go just completely tits up. But we got decent defense. We got a decent weapon now. So, you know, even if we mess up a bit, we should be doing enough damage now to actually kill him fairly quickly.
Well, honestly, the longer you take, the more it benefits Spa, because we're hoping this run will last roughly about 3 hours, so it syncs up with when the next run will be ready.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, that is nice. Okay, so apparently Doppelganger isn't immune to petrification. Good to know.
Holy fuck.
Just literally petrified, and then the next slice kills him instantly. You'll love to see it. And that's what makes the randomizer just so tantalizing to me personally, because you get to see like all of these like nuances you don't normally get to experience, because like obviously you're playing in a set order and you don't normally get weapons like the stone sword out of turn. So before we go into the elongated library, we want to make our way up here to see what the next relic we have to gain is. And for all we know, that could be very, very significant for the sake of progress. So definitely want to make sure we check out whatever it happens to be. There we go. This feels much better. Alright.
I love the guys with rifles.
They're actually pretty damn deadly early on. Like, if you go to the Colosseum early especially, there's an area that's filled with those dudes, and it's kind of tricky. Alright, let's go all the way up here. There's an item there, but can I get to it? It's a bit of a tricky jump, but we might be able to do it if we're Lucky. Let's give it a go. Yes! So, what's this? The Nakamura. It's a two-handed sword. It does less damage than our stone sword, so I think we're good with what we got.
Good old Nakamura.
There's a save point up here as well, so we may as well go up here just to reveal that part of the map as well, just in case. There we go. Alright, so we haven't really got like anything groundbreaking in terms of relics just yet. One thing we will be picking up very shortly is the snorkel, which will actually help us access the underwater areas without taking damage, so we can actually traverse there safely. However, to get down there, we are still missing an important component, which is the doorstone. Oh, of course! I just remembered, because we're using the stone sword, we can't actually kill the Medusa heads with it. Oh, that's hilarious. It's not something I consider in any capacity whatsoever, but yeah, it makes sense. That's actually really funny.
Goldmember asks, is the stone sword from the inverted castle?
I get the feeling it might be, or it's in one of those like really obscure secret areas in the regular castle, like the ones that require like multiple steps to unlock a door, for instance, in the clock tower. But it's like one of those items you don't really see, and by the time you get it, you usually just ignore it. Because, like, you've already picked up stuff that's, like, far superior, and there's not that much that's sort of, like, weak to stones specifically. So it's, like, not one of those things you tend to pay too much attention to. But, of course, if you get it right at the start of the game, all of a sudden, it becomes, like, one of the better weapons in the game. Because we are just chewing through these guys at the moment.
No, I just love how you take down an enemy and it costs $25.
Even ectoplasm needs wallets. Alright, so there's a couple of relics we can get here. One of them is actually from the shop in the library, and the other one is just up over here. And if we find something that lets us get into the other section of the library, we'll actually unlock a couple of more relics that we can grab literally right now. Speaking of which, there's the leap stone, so we might actually be able to do so, because now we have a double jump. And with a double jump also means we have a dive kick, which we can use to jump on enemies to get even more elevation. So all of a sudden, we have now like unlocked far more of the map just by that. And weirdly enough, this isn't like super early, but still, you have to go a little bit out of your way to get it under normal circumstances. But we can like go up to this side here, we can go all the way up here and grab the relic up here if I don't futz the landing with my dive kick, but let's see if I can actually pull this off. Come on, books, behave. Alright, so these books aren't behaving, so I'm going to come back later. I'm going to actually get into the shop first.
Fair enough.
So all the music here gets randomized as well, so you get like weird sort of ill-fitting music in places sometimes. Alright, let's see what we actually got here. So, first of all, we should probably sell... Oh, it turns out the Kingstone was Zircon tier, so that's not ideal.
Well, Zircon was right, but not in this instance, I guess.
No, indeed, indeed. Right, so, let's see what we can actually buy here. We've got a library card... Like, we should probably just see what we can straight up afford first of all, because there isn't a huge amount. But it may be worth coming back here, depending on what's actually in the shop. All the weapons seem kind of garbage. There we got an iron shield. Intelligence circlet. Axe Lord armor, that's quite funny. Crystal cloak. Right, anything that's like really truly busted, like a Ring of Varda or something like that. Castle map, magic scrolls. Okay, so there isn't actually a whole lot in the shop. Like, there's no duplicators, there's no Rings of Varda, so there's nothing like ridiculously broken here. So we could probably safely ignore the shop for the most part, but one thing I wouldn't mind getting is the library card. And we'll also grab... That's a 4. There's no relic in here, actually, thinking about it. Because usually you can buy one in here, but I'm guessing there just straight up isn't this time. So, that's interesting. What does that mean for us, I wonder? Well, I'll enjoy finding out. So, considering we've got a little bit of money left over, just in case we run into a duplicator later on, I want to grab a bat pentagram. So that way we've got something really, really fun to use with that. So...
Okay. Cool. Just a schedule change here, guys. Our runner for Spark 3 is having a bit of issues behind the scenes, so we're going to reschedule that for another day in the marathon. So there's no rush to finish up this particular run here, mate.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll just give it all we can and go from there. Ooh, a gold ring, a goddess shield, and one of the Vlad items. So, as well as needing the Vlad items to actually get to the final boss, they also give us some nice handy buffs as well. So, in this case, this one actually increases our strength, so we're going to be hitting a lot harder with our weapon from this point forward. And in addition to that, we've also got the Goddess Shield, which is actually the Dark Shield, which is one of the few shields in the game that does contact damage. And if we pick up the Shield Rod later on, we'll actually have a very powerful combo attack we can utilize at this stage of the game as well. Now, I'm a little hesitant to go and fight the boss in the library, just because the area with the next relic is locked behind Mist. But because we picked up a library card, if we pick up the Mist form at any point in the run, we can easily make our way back here and pick it up, because it could be very important. It might be one of those very progression essential relics that we're missing out on in that area. So, definitely want to keep a note of that. So the question next is, where do we go from here? Because normally, in the vanilla game, you usually have two choices of where you can go. The first is using the Jewel of Open to go into either the chapel or the cave section, or you can try and traverse the clock tower without a double jump, which is quite risky, but it is doable, technically speaking. So since we haven't actually got a Jewel of Open, that is the route we're going to be opting to take. With our handy-dandy stone sword, which hopefully won't be too detrimental, just because we've got the Medusa heads. But now we have the Dark Shield, we can actually just take them out with that. So, that solves that problem. Isn't that a Castlevania 2 reference with Dracula parts having secondary uses? I'm not 100% sure because I have not actually played Castlevania 2. I'll be absolutely honest, AVGN has scared me away from that game forever.
Yeah, same.
Like, it could be an alright game in theory, but just watching him, like, rip it to shreds is, it doesn't make me feel too confident in it, personally speaking. Righty-ho then. So, we actually have Medusa's boss theme, which is unique to two bosses in the game, so you rarely ever get to hear it, but it's not a favorite for a lot of people. It's a little bit too, you know, whoa! If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going down here first, because sometimes there's an item down at the very bottom here, but unfortunately not today. So we're going to take the regular route, because there is actually a few items on the way on the upper path. And these some of them just respawns. I actually forgot about that.
I'm a very simple person. The sound of the bones clacking amuses me.
Oh yes, it's a very sort of cartoony, oh, rattle them bones! Alright, random javelin, that might be handy if we find a duplicator. Alright, what have we actually got up here? Can we actually get up there is the main question. Enough oomph? Not quite. Alright, so we might need something more substantial than a double jump to get to those last two items. But thankfully, I don't think they're particularly important ones by the looks of it, so should be fine if we leave them for the time being.
Gold asks, would you ever want a remake of this game?
I don't know, because I always thought, personally, the sprite work in this game was already pretty damn immaculate. I don't think you need to, like, make much improvement of it. As long as you can make it, like, readily available, like, really that's all you need for a game that's already as decently polished for what it is like this. Like, I'm not sure if I would, like, be entirely on board with, like, a from-the-ground-up sort of art remake, sort of akin to, like, Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. Because, you know, that game was, like, ancient. Whereas with this, I mean, it's fairly old still, yeah, but, like, it hasn't aged, if you know what I mean. Like, these graphics still hold up just because of the quality of the sprite work.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure how much quality of life you could give Symphony of the Night, because it's already got save rooms, and that's pretty helpful.
Like, you don't need save states or anything like that for a game like this. Like, simply put. Now, the only thing I'm noticing as well is that we are currently heavily lacking in defense. And as a result, any damage we're taking at the moment is quite on the significant side. So I'm hoping as well we might be able to find some defensive items, because otherwise we're going to die, like, very quickly. Speaking of which, I should probably use a healing item here. So let's get a potion in us. There we go. And put the dark shield back on. Actually, did we pick up anything that might help us here? No. Absolutely nothing. We literally have a sword and a shield to our name, and that's it. Thankfully, we still do decent damage, so as long as we're careful, we should be fine. Ooh. Get back here. Yeah, I'm not feeling too keen about the amount of damage I'm taking here. Like, it's taking away a fifth of my health.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in here that'll help. Is that actually an aquamarine or is that something else? No, it is literally just a sellable item again. Could really do some armor or an accessory right about now.
Well, you're the one who chose to randomize everything, good sir.
I know. It's no one's fault but mine, but still. Flame Star. So usually these items are fairly set, because these are all consumables that usually live in these here hills. Actually, there might be a... ooh, food item. Yes, I'll happily take a Frankfurter this time. Hey, 50 health is what we'd like to see. And luckily this boss is usually fairly easy, so hopefully that will still translate. Because you can stun lock him for days. There we go. Nice and easy. It's following like the shmup theory of difficulty, where getting to the boss is the hard part, and then the bosses themselves wind up being fairly easy. Alright, so we're coming up to where we would normally get the leap stone that we currently already have. So I'm hoping our next progression item will be somewhere around here. I think there's a save point somewhere around here too. Yep, there we are. Right on cue. I'm just trying to think. If we don't get anything like overly sort of leaning towards progression here, I'm just thinking where we get our next lot of relics. Because I think we can circle around to the chapel from here at the very least. And there'll probably be something over there. But down over here, there's definitely something. And the nice thing about the randomizers as well is that no matter what preset you use, you should never ever be in a position where you're like locked out of like progress. There's always something you can do or some relic you can acquire somewhere that will help you out. But sometimes you just need to be a bit creative about like where you're going and when you go, so to speak. So let's see what's over here, if there's anything cool. Oop, life up. We'll take that quite happily. Pretty much no dead seeds. Yeah, there's always something you can do. Like, it just depends on if you need to have, like, speedrun knowledge or glitch knowledge in order to progress. But all of the presets that are offered on the website will usually give you an idea of sort of what you're in for. So, you know, if you're going for a seed that's like that, you'll be warned ahead of time. But obviously, since we're using a safe seed, we require no such knowledge.
Ooh, there is actually a website that lists all the different randomizers for various games and whatnot.
Ooh, handy dandy. Because there's actually a lot these days. Like, the randomizer scene has really taken off over the last, like, couple of years, I think. It might be even longer than that, but I only started really paying attention to randomizers proper when the certain randomizer came about.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I didn't even realize Neo The World Ends Review had one.
Okay, that one's actually a surprise to me as well, because I would have expected maybe vanilla, but not Neo.
Let's see. Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Super Castlevania 4. Yep, they've all got stuff.
Mm-hmm. I know, like, I think the majority of the Zelda games have them at this point.
Which randomizer are you using for certain here, mate?
I can't remember the exact name of it, but there should be a command to see exactly, like, where the randomizer comes from and also who made it, more importantly. I think the command is something like ! certain random or something like that. There we go. Let's save there, because I think we got another boss here that we can trounce. As we kill multiple bats. And Hippogriff time.
Ah, the Wild Mouse one, yes.
Yes, that's it. I think that's the only one that exists as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, there was one called the Relic Randomiser. I don't know if that's the name of the user or just the name of the randomizer, but that one's obsolete. There's also randomizers for Circle of the Moon, Harmony and Dissonance, a few for Aria of Sorrow, and one for Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia.
Yeah, I think Aria and Dawn is like one of the easier ones to do like a good randomizer for, because you can randomize all of the souls and what have you that you get as well. Which creates some very interesting things. You could like get like a near final area soul very early on, like much in the same way that like getting a really good piece of movement tech earlier on can break a run. You might be able to get like the Shadow Panther very early on, and all of a sudden you have a really, really good dash attack to utilize. Is that what I think it is? The goggles! I mean, they do nothing, but it's better than what we got at the moment, which is literally nothing.
Yeah.
So we can traverse a bit more of a chapel here, hopefully find some more handy-dandy items, because I don't think there's that much in terms of relics here, but there's definitely items we can pick up from the various towers on our way back down. Ooh! Is that potentially the dragon helmet? Protects sensitive head parts. It increases my defense by a whole extra point. So we'll take it. Although I'm ideally looking for some armor now at this point, because we still need a lot in terms of actual defense, because we're missing a cape, we are missing body armor, and we're potentially missing 2 accessories as well, which we might have at this point in the game ordinarily.
Aren't you wearing a cape right now?
Well, I mean, you're always shown wearing a cape, but obviously a cape is treated as like an armor part as well, so you can find some along the way, and all the colors of the capes are randomized as well. So while you're always shown wearing a cape, you don't always have a cape in terms of like item.
Right.
Now we can't actually, I don't think we can actually access the Colosseum. Actually, we might be able to access the Colosseum from here, if I remember correctly. I just can't recall exactly where the button that gets us there is. Ah, there it is. Let's have a quick peek. Ooh! Sword of Dawn. Is it any good, though? It's a 2-handed obsidian sword. It does less damage than what we have currently. So the answer is no. Alright, let's move swiftly on then. So we can look as goofy as you want. Well, I mean, to a point, yeah, but if you want to really go all in on the goofiness, you need to find Joseph's cloak, which is the one that lets you customize the color settings. But with the random one, you can get like all sorts of garish colors if you're lucky, or unlucky as the case may be. Now, since we have a double jump, we should actually be able to get all the items over here, which would be quite nice. This should be, hopefully, something there that we can use. Sunglasses, alright. Oh, wow. Cool-looking sunglasses. They actually increase all our stats. So, yeah, we'll have that. Another thing you don't tend to see very often is being on the other side of that thing. Ow, my face! Ow, my face again. Alright. This might actually be more precarious than I thought. Ooh, Dracula tunic. If that is the actual Dracula tunic. Strongest of all armor. Alright, defense 33. Yes! There we go. Right, we found the solution to our problem. We'll release the iron ball. We'll let that take care of the rest for us.
Yeah.
Alright, that's just a consumable. Is that something? No, it's just grapes.
I would actually not mind doing a randomizer run of my own at some point in the near future. Maybe after Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, I'd recommend it, because it's honestly a great way to re-experience games that you played before in completely different light, just because it turns everything that you're used to upside down, and while sometimes you might get things that are like easier, it always presents at some point, fairly consistently, a unique challenge at some point or another. Ooh, there's a necklace up there, but can I actually get it? I think the answer's no. Pudding. And the save point as well, so we can actually recover all the health that we lost going down that shit. But there we go. We now actually have armor, so we should be fairly comfortable from this point on. We just need to sort of figure out the right order of where we're going here. But thankfully, we are narrowing down, like, where we can realistically go. Like, we're actually boxed in here, so we need to actually go back up. And I think at this point, the only real direction we can go right now is the direction of the lower part of Auroch's quarters. And then follow that up by going into the Colosseum. And I would wager in either one of those places should be our next progression point. So we should either get like a mist form, or bat form, or gravity boots, or something that sort of offers us like a means of some kind of flight, which will obviously help us get to places that we couldn't otherwise. Either that, or we'll finally get the Jewel of Open, which will let us go into the caves. So I'm hoping we'll find one of those three things. Now, Holy Rod, will that be something we can make good use out of? Anointed Rod, it does do more damage, so we'll go with it. Boing. There we go. Yeah, it is actually the Holy Rod, so there's quite a few things that are weak to holy damage, but whatever it is significantly more than what's weak to stone, which is like maybe 2 or 3 enemies total, so we should be able to do some decent damage against a couple of threats we couldn't before, as well as be able to kill the Medusa heads with our weapon at last.
Oh, you got this, mate. Don't worry about it.
I know. I'm not worried. It's more just a case of, like, where the fuck do I go? It's like a question you ask yourself, like, every 10-20 minutes when it comes to randomizers. These damn annoying birds as well. I can never forget them. Bane of my existence in climbing towers.
Flying enemies, I don't know how to quit you.
I wish I could. They're annoying as fuck. Yeah, that's what I thought. Holy Rod up the ass, see you answer that. Okay, apparently the Holy Rod does dick all against those ghost lasses. Good to know.
Yeah, I reckon if I did a randomizer, it would probably be KH2 Final Mix.
Is that the Kingdom Hearts game you generally have the most experience with, or is that just the one like where the randomizer generally comes most recommended?
That one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get some games in this series where it's just the randomizer for whatever reason is more optimized and perfected compared to others, and I guess sometimes the popularity of a game in the series can go into it. So like, obviously, if Kingdom Hearts 1 isn't nearly as popular as Kingdom Hearts 2, then you may find the randomizers aren't nearly as fine-tuned as they are versus other games in the series. Although I think I remember with Soten especially, like, I don't think we didn't get a randomizer through, like, lack of interest. It was more trying to crack the code so that it could be randomized to begin with. I seem to recall there being a bit of a struggle initially. And then, of course, eventually a guy stepped in and thought, hey, what if we did it this way? And then actually came up with the framework and then developed it from there. Alright, so what will be our quickest way to get to Oroc's quarters? I think we take the Scorpion Portal, and then we go back down that way. So the name of the place I can't actually remember a lot of the time because it's something that I usually only ever go through like once or twice and then forget the area exists. Right, down we go.
Silver Dude says, there's actually a super interesting rando released recently that combines Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask into one massive adventure.
Ooh, that does sound really nice. I think even if it wasn't a randomizer, that would just be a good thing to go through.
Yeah.
Just having the seamless experience of both games at once. I mean, I wonder if they could get to a point where you could, like, combine both worlds as well. So obviously you could, like, go through Majora's Mask's, like, levels in Ocarina of Time and vice versa. But that'd probably take a lot of work to make happen, if it can even be done at all.
Yeah.
But no, the fact that he managed to do something like that, that's amazing. But then again, I could say the same about, like, a lot of, like, ROM hacks and fan games in general. Like, when someone's determined to do something like that, it's amazing what they can come up with just a little bit of time. Yeah, I mean, well, Nintendo know that the hard way. They can ban as many Pokemon fan games as they want, but the only trouble is about 3 more will take their place. They are infinite. They cannot be stopped. Ah, so nice taking only 1 damage when previously I was taking like 25. Makes me feel a lot more comfy.
Oh, of course.
Of course, these flea mans ain't shit against the Dark Shield. So, ooh, can we get up there in time before the statue closes up on us? Yes, we can. Ank of Life. Is that an actual accessory, or is that more lies? That is more lies. It is actually a sellable item.
Damn you and your lies!
Ah, it's a shame as well, because if there was actually something decent in the shop, we might be able to get it by now. I remember one of the test runs I was doing for this, just to, you know, make sure all of my emulation software and things like that was still working. The shop actually had both the Ring of Vada and the duplicator at the same time, and it's just like, yeah, you get to the shop with like any kind of sellable item, and it turned out one of the random drops was a diamond. Like, you just wreck the game at that point, and, you know, you can't be stopped, it's just a matter of time more than anything.
Ooh, good room.
Yep, we got another health pickup. Though the hearts seem fairly pointless, to be fair, but, you know, we take what we can get.
Goldmember says Spike Vegeta plays the Donkey Kong 64 rando a lot. You can even play as Afro Kong in it. Hold the phone. Who the hell is Afro Kong?
I was just about to ask the same question. Is that like the Donkey Kong brother that they don't speak about and they keep locked away in the basement for the safety of all involved?
Wow.
Alrighty.
He's not going to be on the cover of a video game anytime soon, is Afro Kong.
This is where they come out with like a re-release of all the previous Donkey Kong games. Just like, never before seen Afro Kong.
Oh, it's Chunky during the DK wrap before he changes into his regular clothes.
Oh, okay, it is literally that simple, okay. Won't lie, I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping it would be just some insane Donkey Kong brother that they don't talk about.
Yeah, like Punish Kong, chained for his war crimes.
Imagine if they went in the Metal Gear Solid motif fully, but then again, we'd also have Naked Kong, and I feel like that'd be a wee bit too cursed.
They're all naked for the most part.
Well,
Donkey Kong's only wearing a tie.
that's true, but at least he put some effort in. Looks like Form of Mist is literally right there. Actually, where it normally is in the game, oddly enough.
Huh.
You do get that occasionally on randomizers as well, where it's just like, an item will sometimes just wind up exactly where you think it is. You know, can't keep people, like, thinking you're going to be too predictable. Oh, everything's going to be in somewhere different. Just like, nope, this is exactly where you'd expect to see it.
You're all very impressive, but you're only doing 1 damage, so maybe we could just, like, cut our losses and just go home.
Just like, maybe we should turn around. This guy somehow got a hold of Dracula's tunic way early. And nice thing too, we got another library card, so we can actually use it to replace the one that we'll probably use in a bit. Seeing as one of the things we need the Mistform for is actually in the library, so... That one little bit of, like, where things normally are is actually playing to our benefit. Another thing you might notice as well, if you're looking at the tracker, is that it's actually tracked a random sword. And that's because there are swords in the game which give you a double jump stance, so to speak. So even if you only have the 1 jump unlocked, if you use the special for it, you can actually get a double jump out of it. And that will actually allow you to access areas you normally can't, with literally just a weapon you happen to find. So you may find in one of the more complex seeds, that's actually something you need to actually progress. Right, I actually need to find a save point before I go fighting the Minotaur and his friend. Just need to remember exactly where said save point is. I think it's down... Nope, it's not there. We literally just went there. So it must be the one just above it.
Dragon Super asks, isn't the Walk Armor the strongest armor in the game?
The Walk Armor is the strongest armor in the game if you can glitch it out, and I think it's only by 1 defense. I think God's Garb is usually considered the strongest.
Who are you? Open Hell's Gate. Come forth, my servants. The scent of your blood. You're a Belmont. Crush this flea who invades my castle.
I tell you what, these boys don't stand a chance. Oh, look at that. You only did 1 damage to me. And you're dead as well.
Christ.
Yep. The power of actually having armor and a half-decent weapon.
That was a Belmont. So he says he's the lord of this castle.
Well, at least you'll know where to add it from, Flame.
No, this is true, this is true. Right, so now we can claim our prize. Which is this here Mistform. And we can open the way over here as well. Just in case we need it. But I think what we need to do now is see what's in here, use the library card, and see what awaits us over there. Alright, library card, library card. Where is my library card? There you are. Alright, so I've got a few sellables here, so I'm just going to sell them just for the sake of it.
What can I do for you?
Let's see here, we got... Ooh, we actually picked up a diamond for all that, okay.
I'm interested in
So we can actually pick up, like, more or less everything here. So, let's see here. Let's remind myself if there is anything actually worth using.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, we can pick up a cloak now as well. So, let's grab the crystal cloak. Let's grab the Ring of Ares. And let's see. For 500,000, we can pick up a gemstone buckler. Yum, yum, yum. Right. But I think I will actually pick up the Dwarven necklace, because more defense is definitely handy. So we can now actually have a full setup. So Ring of Ares and Heartbrooch. Brilliant. Alright. And now we have a very, very fancy cape. And I just used another library card by accident. Go me. That's okay, we can buy more. They are incredibly cheap. I think normally a library card costs you something like 2,000, but for us it costs only 200, so we can literally just spam buy them if we wanted to.
Is there any way you can manually enter on the tracker what you've gotten?
I don't think so. I haven't really tinkered around with it all that much, I'll be honest. But I think when I watch through Dragon Blitz's streams, if this tracker does go down, or it loses track of what you're doing in like the one run that you're doing, it's basically done. So it's like one of those things that you can't really tinker too much with from my experience.
Alright.
Which is a bit unfortunate, but we just have to roll with it. Now, did I actually go up here in the end? Because I think I had an argument with a book, if I remember correctly. Alright. Let's go to the middle portion, because that's actually where we need to take this mist form that we got. And that should give us... I'm thinking either bat form or the gravity boots. It'll be one of those two items. Or the Jewel of Open. And since we also picked up the Ring of Arcana as well, we should find some random items as well a lot more frequently than normal, so we might actually find some really neat stuff just as random drops now, like with reasonable chance.
Come on, Chrysogram.
That would be funny. Or the duplicator. Like, I'll take one of those quite happily. Because not every day you get to show off a duplicator in like a from start to finish Soten run. We can check what's up here. Kingstone, I'm pretty sure that's a sellable if I remember correctly. And, ooh, cross shuriken. Well, again, if we get the duplicator, that'll be incredibly good. Alright, boss time.
So what do we actually need to finish the game again? Is it the 5 Dracula things?
Alright, so the first thing we need to grab is the Holy Glasses in order to actually get to the Inverted Castle. And once we get to the Inverted Castle, if we can find all 5 Vlad items, we'll be able to fight the final boss. And we've already got 1, so we just need to find 4 more. Somewhere either between here or the Inverted Castle. So I would reckon there might be potentially 1 more item down here, but it wouldn't surprise me if the other 4 pieces are all in the Inverted Castle.
So, is the mist one of those items, or was it something we found pre-controller destruction?
No, the mist is something that's just used for traversal purposes, so it's like a major item in terms of like unlocking pieces of the game, because it lets you go to more places.
Okay, well, even if it's not there, just assume we have one of the pieces and we have 4 more to go.
Yep. I mean, I can always manually keep track as well, like you normally would have to do when you're going through the game vanilla. So we now have the Jewel of Open, which means we have access to the caves area, which means we're probably going to need to do a lot of traversing down in that area to get the next batch of relics that we're missing. So, depending on how deep we have to go, we might have to go all the way down to the catacombs and potentially fight Granfaloon, which is not something you normally have to do when you're running through the game normally. Like, I think it's Granfaloon and Galmoth are like the 2 bosses in the game you can like safely ignore and it won't stop you from completing the game. But because of the nature of the randomizer, we may be in a position where that's no longer an option. So just gotta make my way back to the main corridor as fast as I can. The shield backdash is one of the pieces of text, even though it's like a speedrunner thing mainly, it's something that I've just adopted because it's just so much faster than most things you get.
And it's fun.
Oh yeah, it's very fun. Like, if you like to push buttons, especially, this is very cathartic. Right, so because we got the Jewel of Open, we can use it to open up the way to the caves, and that's normally locked behind a door that only the Jewel of Open can get to. And under normal circumstances, you go to the library, buy the Jewel of Open, come back over here, and then open the way over that way, but we had to go a little bit further than that to find it, so it'll be interesting to see what's been locked away over here, because I'd be willing to bet it's something integral. Based on the preset, especially. Nope. It's in the other one then. There's two holes. One leads to items, one leads to a new area.
Do you not want the heart in the hole back there?
Not particularly. I can make do without it.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, so I think because of the movement tech we got, we can actually also fight the succubus boss straight away. Because normally you need like some kind of extra jump aside from your double jump or flight to actually get there, but because we've got like the mist form, we should actually be able to find our way over there.
Hmm.
Oh, not quite. That's alright though. Right, got another save point over here. So we've got a boss we can fight here, Skylar. Or we can try and go across the water areas. But I think we need access to the oarsman for one of them. If I remember rightly. Ah, feels good to not take damage from water.
Oh, God bless.
Just like, oh no, I'm being trapped in the water that will normally damage me, but because I picked up the holy symbol early, I don't have to worry about it. Yep. Ooh, is that the actual Alucard shield that I just found there? Not quite. It does slightly more damage, but the Dark Shield also does damage, so I'm half tempted to keep it. Go, Nose Demon! Stationary bosses is where it actually shines, because you can actually stab it without it moving around constantly. Alright, so what's behind you? Ooh! The merman statue, I believe, is actually the thing that summons the oarsman, so... The problem I was complaining about literally 1.5 minutes ago has now just been resolved.
Love when that happens.
Yep, you just love it when a plan comes together. Even if you didn't necessarily plan it to begin with. Also, just notice that the music is actually correct here. Going back to the whole... Sometimes the randomizer just does things as intended. There we go, Mr. Oarsman. Take me to a place.
I'll guide you to meet your destiny.
Can we get another take on that guy, please?
It's the PS1 era. You get a lot of things that are like that. Just like...
I'm sorry, this is just my natural voice.
Yes, Mo Sislak is exactly what we were going for here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I actually have the ability to breathe underwater, I can just go wherever the hell I like without worrying.
Hey, Karen, welcome to the stream.
No, don't leave me! Mojo Mail. I don't actually remember that item. Embroidered Nobleman's Tunic. It is not nearly as good as the Dracula Tunic, so we're not going to use it.
Yeah, the arrow does not point up, therefore I give no shits.
Yep, pretty much how it goes. If it's like in the RPG sort of thing, it's just like, if the number ain't green, I don't want anything to do with it. But we did get the Spike Breaker armor, so that's going to be important. Because that'll actually let us go through the door where the Maria usually gives us the holy glasses. Or run away after telling her that Richter's Lord of the Castle, and then she gives us the holy glasses later on, so... we are in good standing. But it depends on whether the silver ring's actually there to begin with. It could just be a completely different relic for all we know, which is all part and parcel for the randomizer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It means we got more options. We're not necessarily going to be restricted and resorting to backtracking from where we currently are, because so far, we're exactly where we want to be. The only thing we might actually have to backtrack for, thinking about it, is potentially for Succubus, but I think we actually need a flight item for that one.
Okay, no.
Oh yeah, let's watch these assholes drown. Ah! Suck it, bitches! What the hell are they even
Jesus.
doing there to begin with? That's what I want to know.
They held hands as they were dying.
Shame. But no, I wanted to be at the meeting when, like, they realized that Alucard was coming for their asses. It's like, we need you four to, like, put yourselves inside an inescapable cave just in case Alucard deigns to go above you.
Not sure about that one, Chief.
Like, how much did they have to pay those guys to actually agree with that? Or how were they tricked into doing exactly that?
Well, they're the forces of evil. I doubt they had a choice or a say in the matter.
True that. You either die by Dracula's hand, or you die eventually when they realize they can just put the box inside the cave and just drown your asses.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody frogs. Always so hard to deal with.
There are a lot of these guys.
Yeah, this is like... Made me wonder if, like, Dracula's like an amphibian enthusiast. He just collects them in a room somewhere and he just let them all out. Alright. Mornblade. Is that one of the better items in the game? Spirit Sword improves defense. Oh, I think this is the shield rod, but in sword form. Hold on, let me test this out. It actually is. Oh, I think we might actually be using a new weapon now.
Ooh.
We can actually use the Dark Shield to do amazing amounts of damage. This makes me very happy. Alright, so what's in the place where the Oarsman is usually found? Let's go find out. It'll be fun to fight the Granfalloon with the Dark Shield, because I'm pretty sure that's going to completely wreck him when we find him. So I'm looking forward to that especially. Right. Mr. Oarsman.
I'll take you to a place which might be interesting for you.
Again, this is my real voice. Please don't make fun of me.
I see Wiener. Hey, we got I see Wiener here.
Hello, this is Huge Ass.
Yeah, sorry, this was kind of a prank call that backfired, so I'm just gonna leave awkwardly now.
Okay, what a nice young man.
That was like one of the most wholesome moments that is just obviously a complete joke that I remember from that show.
Yeah.
I think we can all aspire to be a bit like Huge Ass. Just take a joke in stride. Ooh. Skill of Wolf. Okay. I thought that might have been the actual wolf transformation, but apparently not. Alright, take me back. There's nothing left for us here except for the catacombs, which I guess is where we're going to go next. Because we can fight Granfaloon, and we can also use the Spike Breaker armor to potentially get more progress items.
Dragon Super asked, isn't the Alucard shield the best in the game?
Yes, it is if you have the shield rod to go with it. Because it makes you more or less invincible when you've got it held up. You deal the maximum amount of damage, like every tick, while also regenerating health and hearts. In exchange for gradually draining your MP, which is like barely even a trade-off. But I'm not sure if we actually have it at the moment, but obviously we got the Dark Shield, which also provides a very potent damaging attack. Not quite on the level as the Alucard Shield, because nothing comes to the level of the Alucard Shield, let's be frank here. But still very good in its own right. Now, I don't think we can actually get up here again, so we might have to loop back around, I believe. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. But that's okay, we do have a means to do exactly that, so nothing to it but to hoof it. Yeah, it's a shame we haven't got like a form of flight or anything like that yet, because we could actually explore some of the beginning parts of the castle if we had the bat form or the gravity boots, but that's okay. Opal Circlet. What's that one again? Stores HP by poison damage. Fair enough. Yeah, we got the Goddess Shield, which is masquerading as the Alucard Shield, so not quite the same shield, unfortunately. Right. I wonder if it'd be quicker to go via the library card. Might actually be. No, actually, it probably won't, because we unlocked the shortcut in the alchemy lab. So we should be fine. So are there any Castlevania games that you personally haven't tried yet that you've been meaning to get your hands on?
The DS ones, I'd love a collection for those. I haven't played Judgment, the fighting game with the interesting character designs.
Yeah, everyone's just cosplaying as it's just Death Note characters cosplaying as Castlevania characters, let's face it.
Pretty much. Let me go through the ones I have played. I'm not sure if I've beaten all of these, but I've definitely played them. 1, 3, Super 4, Circle of the Moon, Aria of Sorrow, Harmony of Resonance, or whatever it's called. I think I did Rondo of Blood. I remember getting really annoyed at the spearmen in that one.
Doesn't surprise me. I think I remember them being really annoying. Like, especially with, like, in, like, certain terms, like, there's usually a lot of ways to avoid that sort of thing, but when you've only got, like, a whip, it becomes a bit of a struggle. So you haven't, like, played any of the PS2 games especially, so Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness, I think?
Curse of Darkness is the 64 one, isn't it?
No, I think that was literally just called Castlevania 64, if I remember rightly, but could be wrong. But there's another PS2 game which is literally you play as Hector, and you're basically going through Dracula's castle to face Isaac, who is just incredibly insane in that show. So Hector is actually the sane one, where Isaac is just he's just balmy, and there's no other way to put it, to be perfectly frank. But very interesting. Saint Germain's actually in that one as well.
Let's go down the list here. We've got Castlevania 1, I've beaten that. There's Castlevania The Adventure on Game Boy, haven't played that.
No, me neither. I haven't even heard of that one. Which is strange, because I've heard of Kid Dracula of all things.
Haunted Castle is an arcade port of 1, so we'll skip that.
Mm-hmm.
I've beaten 3 Dracula's Curse, I've beaten Super Castlevania 4. Pretty sure I've done Rondo of Blood, I don't know if I actually finished it though. Bloodlines, haven't touched that. Symphony of the Night I have done. Castlevania Legends on the Game Boy, definitely not. Haven't beaten either of the 64 games. Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow I have done. Lament of Innocence, the one you mentioned, no. Then we have Dawn of Sorrow, Curse of Darkness, Portrait of Rain. Haven't done those. There's Order of Ecclesia, no. Then we have Lords of Shadow. And that was it. The last Castlevania game was in 2014.
Ooh. Actually, one that I remember being particularly fun was Harmony of Despair, and that's like the multiplayer-based one where you fight as like all various Castlevania protagonists. That's a really fun one, but unfortunately it's like not one of those games you can pick up particularly easily anymore. Well, I would love to see a re-release of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just keep the collections coming, honestly.
Yeah,
it's all
definitely.
about game preservation.
Exactly. I mean, it's the reason why we usually resort to emulation and things like that to begin with for posterity more than anything else. Just so we still get to play those games and don't have to like fork out multiple hundreds of pounds for a used copy just because they don't feel like releasing a new version of said game or just making it available on later consoles.
Yeah, true.
It's not even about putting the effort for a remaster. Sometimes just making a port accessible is more than enough. Alright, where is Mr. Ape Man? Come on. Over this way. This frog's gonna ruin my day, I'm calling it now. Oh, he tried it! He tried it! He was going for it. Yatsuna. Oops. Getting life up. But yeah, I mean, I haven't played much in terms of like the earlier Castlevania games myself. Pretty much all my experience comes from pretty much from Soten onward. I think I've played just about every game from that point onward, except for I think it was the second PS1 game. That's the only one I haven't actually touched. But they're all very fun. Like, Lords of Shadow in particular is like one of those weird ones where you think, oh, this doesn't really look all that great. But it tells like a very compelling story in terms of like Belmont eventually becoming Dracula and then sort of him coming to terms with it. And obviously, Lords of Shadow 2 had Trevor Belmont as Alucard in this case. And also one of the main villains, Zobek, who was voiced by Patrick Stewart. Alright, let's give him a taste of a Dark Shield. Easy game, easy life. What can I say?
You know, I'd crumble into pieces if I saw that face as well.
It's true that. Like, fuck that noise! Just immediately go into the fetal position. Just hope it all ends soon. Oh right, yes, he actually speaks Japanese. That's crazy. I did not actually know that.
To this crazy demon language, what could it possibly mean? Konnichiwa? Some kind of magic spell.
He means to destroy us all. Ow. How dare you.
Begone, Rose Harlot.
Surprisingly sturdy, actually. I can't remember if there's actually anything back here other than, like, items, but it's always worth a look. Hard up. Why not? We'll take it. Just in case something drops, like, a time bag for us or something like that. You never know when a secondary item might drop at any time. We might be in turkey mode, but they can randomly drop still.
Right, I believe it's shilling time again. Hey all, welcome back to HFC All-Stars. We are raising money for Child's Play, an organisation that provides kids staying long-term in hospital for whatever reason with toys and games to help ease their stay. This is day 5, and we have currently raised $2,015.15, which is a very visually and mentally satisfying to see and think about. You've unlocked 3 games so far, because for every $1,000 we raise, we put a new day of stream playthroughs onto the end of the marathon. Day 1 features Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance and Fez, and day 2 is all about Chrono Trigger. I'm very excited for those.
Indeed, indeed. Metal Gear Rising is always one of those games that I'm honestly surprised hasn't gotten a remaster at this point. Like, it honestly deserves it more than most games out there, if you ask me.
And in regards to, like, if we've got any giveaways and whatnot, we have a Steam raffle for, well, a Steam code raffle for Sonic Frontiers. Every $5 you donate gets you 1 entry into said raffle. So donate $25, you get 5 entries, and, you know, they stack. So the more you donate, the more chances you have to win.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. I am very pleased to see that we've raised so much already at this early stage. It does the heart good.
Yeah, yesterday was pretty crazy. I definitely wasn't expecting the same today, so don't worry, I have reasonable expectations for charity marathons.
Indeed, but it's always fun when you get to see like one of those days that just completely catches you off guard, because usually a lot of the time when you're doing like a long duration marathon like this, like normally you kind of expect there to be like a initial push, then things start to slow down a bit and you get like sprinklings of donations here and there, and then towards the end you get another big push. So it was quite unusual to sort of like at the early midpoint just suddenly get nearly like $1,000 on that one day. It's insane to even think about, but also incredibly generous, so thank you.
Indeed so. It's the kind of thing like when you're kind of tired and haggard, it helps perk you up, it really does. And obviously you're helping out a good cause, but you know, I have to mention myself first because I am selfish like that.
No, I feel like a lot of people would feel similarly. Like, just having something like that just sort of reminds you, like, what you're there for, and that there are people out there that are genuinely supporting it. It really helps to put a pep in your step. Right, so first thing we should probably do is navigate the area we need the spike armor for. So that's going to be our first stop. And then we'll fight Granfaloon afterwards.
How close actually are we to the inverted castle right now?
Well, let's see. We got the spike armor, which under normal circumstances was purchased by the gold ring, but because of the fact that it's randomized, even like items like the gold ring and such, they're treated as relics rather than items, so they can usually be in the place that like normally we find like back transformation and things like that. So it could still be absolutely anywhere, but usually something like spike armor would probably lead us to somewhere that has like a progress item in it. So let's see. Spike armor. Let's put that on. And I'm pretty sure the spike armor is like one of those items that won't troll you when you're randomizing, where it's like, oh, it looks like the spike armor, but it's actually this item instead.
Oh, it's a carrot. How's that going to help me?
Yeah, pretty much that. There we go. Marvelous. We may as well keep the spike armor on until we're making our way back. I don't think any of these enemies are going to be too dangerous for us at this stage. So we can afford to be a bit lazy for the sake of just making sure we don't forget.
Oh, you got some spaghetti.
Ooh, spaghetti. Ooh. What's this? Miracurus. Probably not as good as the Dracula tunic, I can probably tell you that much for nothing. But let's have a look at it anyway. Polished to resist stoning. Okay. Alright, so what's back here? Come on, be something good. It was the ghost card. Okay, so turns out it was like an entirely pointless relic, but that's okay. The spike armor also unlocks another place where something potentially nice could be, so it's always worth looking. Of course, unless you've seen the spoiler, you won't know exactly where everything is. Oh, that's a rather upsetting thought. How the hell are we going to get back up? We might have to take a library card here if we're... Oh no, we're fine. Never mind. I thought for a second there we had to use the library card just to circle back around again. I mean, we got a portal that takes us nearby here anyway, so it wouldn't have been too big of a deal, but still, wouldn't have been ideal.
Come on, man. I spent all this time putting these spikes together. I had to do them individually as well, like Sully's hairs in Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, we had like 15 fatalities because somebody accidentally stepped backwards.
To admire the work.
This is what the constructors for Crystal Maze must have felt.
Oh, bless.
Actually, speaking of Crystal Maze, I did have my first escape room experience quite recently, and that was very fun. I definitely thought, like, oh yeah, I mean, this is very much like the Crystal Maze, but like, it's one or multiple rooms, and you're trying to figure out the puzzles. Very much took me back to those times.
I'll take a mystery challenge right now, please.
Oh no, I'll go for skill. I like me some skill.
What was it? Physical,
Physical,
mental?
skill, puzzle, and mental, or something like that. I think that was 4.
Wait, you know I've got to look it up now.
Oh yeah. As I fight the embodiment of BoJack Horseman.
Mental, physical, mystery, and skill.
Oh, there we go. I kind of wish they'd brought the show back, to be honest with you, but what they ended up doing instead, they sort of like released it sort of like an open to the public thing. So I suppose it's like pretty much similar to what an escape room like establishment would be at this point. Let's give him a taste of the Dark Shield.
Give him the disapproving dad look.
Alright, we can't quite get up there, but who knows, maybe we'll find something. Actually, we might be able to get up there if we dive kick off him, but we'll try that on the way back before we try the next area.
Mm-hmm.
Got a save point before the Grand Falloon as well, which is nice. I loved how they did the Grand Falloon in the Netflix show as well. So it's sort of like less gigantic ball, more like easy to manipulate thing, where it's just like literally chucking bodies at you and things like that. That was very badass for a boss that feels kind of basic, like under regular circumstances. Alrighty, let's see if the Dark Shield can make short work of this guy. Oh, we've stripped him naked already. Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Literally just stripped him of all his bodies instantly, and then the second one finished the job. You don't get to see him go into like full sort of Contra Gradius boss like that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you find your way to the middle and kill him long before then when you've killed all the remaining segments. That's unenably, spawning bloody weeds underneath my feet. Right, so what's here? Talisman. Inscription. Oh! Okay, very much worth us coming here. We got one of the rings to access the clock tower. So, very, very important item. So we just need to find the silver ring now. And that'll let us get the holy glasses, or something similar to that. And we should be able to access the inverted castle, but it depends if the holy glasses are going to be where they normally are, or if where the holy glasses would normally be gives us like some major movement tech. So we'll make our way back to the portal room. Trying to see if there's actually a way I can dive kick off him safely, but doesn't look like it. Alright, we're ignoring that then.
Oh.
Unfortunately, he's just not very dive kickable. Too many pointy bits.
Not even the horseman can stand up to disapproving dad.
I'm never going to not see it as anything but that anymore. I hope you realise this.
Good.
To which he says, my work here is done.
Yeah.
Alright, let's use a dark shield, see if we can clear the flames, because these buggers get irritating after a while if you leave them alive for too long. $250? What are skeletons doing with that much cash on them? For what possible reason could they have that much money on them?
Maybe they have a family at home that they're trying to raise money for.
Maybe. Like, ever since the Funny Bones are no longer on TV, they've been struggling to make ends meet.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but when was the last time anyone's actually mentioned those guys in casual conversation?
I think they came up in a Canicarus video at one point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the first episode premiered on the 29th of September, 1992.
1992, bloody hell. Actually, to be fair, I thought it was way older than that. Like, I thought when I watched it as a kid, it was like one of those things that was like from eons and eons ago, and they're just all like re-airing it on TV sort of dealio.
Well, there was a book series first, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like Mega Mog, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're bringing back all the repressed memories now, aren't we?
Oh, is there a new Bloodstain in development?
Ooh. Oh, wait, I think I remember hearing about that, actually. Right, so where do we wish to go now from here? Scorpion? No? I think we need to go back to the chapel, so Lion, that's what we want. We can use the spike breaker armor for its second to last use from there. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I'm very much hoping where the spike armor's guarding has some form of flight, because otherwise I'm starting to run out of ideas on where we progress from here. It'll probably take me a while to remember, just like, oh yeah, that place.
I hope it's not one of those seeds.
Hopefully not, but I have a good feeling. The most intense where the fuck is the next relic music I have ever heard. There we go. Right. Thankfully we have all the things required to actually go through this next portion, so put back on Spike Breaker. Eat the spikes. Nom 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 nom.
Ooh, tasty.
Alright, hi Maria. What have you got for me?
So, did you...
Yeah, we found Belmont. Hello? Lapis Lazuli. I get the feeling... Yes. Alright, so we've got both the rings for the clock tower now. Brilliant. Right.
Very cool.
So... Actually, let's put those on later. We know we got them both, so we just need to go to the clock tower now. Go back through here, then we can take off the spike armor for the foreseeable future. Okay, so via the Colosseum is probably our quickest way to the clock tower. Seeing as we've now unlocked the way forward from there. Or did we? No, we did. Just need to make our way over there. Post haste! Maria's waiting for us after all. Shit, didn't stick the landing. Alright. Turns out I'm gonna need to lift after all. I can't do my movement shenanigans I did in Risk of Rain 2, unfortunately.
Alas. Man, that run was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that was very cool. Especially that I got to like show off the Mithrix phase skip. Which just came absolutely out of nowhere. I still don't really know how I actually managed to achieve that, but I'll have to look it up. Maybe it's somewhere documented. Oh, if you have this item, you can actually skip this entirely. And it's just like, okay, I had no idea that was even a thing.
I gotta be honest, I thought you got caught by one of the void things right at the end, but apparently that was just the ship powering up.
Yep, that's right. If you see a really white light, then you know you've done right. But obviously with the void thing, it just kills you normally, so it doesn't do anything overly flashy or anything like that. It just ragdolls you and then that's it.
Fair enough.
Alright, here we are. Clock tower, clock tower. Let's go ahead and wear the rings. Let's wear the rings in the incorrect order just to mess with them. There we go. And open says me. Dynamite and an elixir. Just what every growing boy needs. Alright, Maria, what have you actually got for us? Because if this is the actual holy glasses, and the next thing is, can we actually get past the stairs to Dracula Castle with just a double jump and mist form? Because I'm not 100% sure if we can, but obviously if that's the case, then either I've missed an item somewhere, or you can in fact do exactly what I just said. And since we've got the rings done now, we can go ahead and equip what we had before. Yep, there we go. Ah, yes! Solar Bat. Okay, so that's what we actually get.
Alucard?
So normally she just literally gives you the holy glasses and then you would obviously go off to fight Shaft, but because all the relics are shifted, we actually get the Soul of Bat here, which means obviously what we are looking for, that being the holy glasses, is somewhere else in the castle, which we now should be able to access.
Right.
So that's actually pretty big, because the Soul of Bat will actually let us get to... I think we could pretty much get to all of the usual relic spots in the regular castle. So it's definitely going to be somewhere around here. It just depends on how soon we find it and what else happens to be hiding around there, because we could have Vlad relics potentially as well to contend with. Alright, standard issue back card. It's not going to help us.
Back card. Never enter the inverted castle without it.
Aquamarine and a random life up. Okie dokie. So, we can actually do Olroc's quarters properly now as well. So I think that's actually where we're going to head next. We can also open the portal there proper. Like, from a speedrun perspective, like, getting the Soul of Bat this late probably means the actual run will wind up taking a while, because they're suddenly missing, like, an essential piece of movement tech for, like, what people normally do, which is just chain wing smashes forever. So I think even a seasoned speedrunner would probably struggle a bit speed-wise up until literally this point. Nah, let's just stop shit here. Get obliterated. Alright, let's open the portal here first. Let's cycle through them just to make sure we actually initiate it properly. I think I'm pretty sure you don't have to, but I do so just for my own peace of mind than anything else.
We all have those kind of gaming tics, don't worry about it.
It's like, save the game. Wait, did I save? I better save again just to make sure. Okay,
Ooh.
now I've saved. Wait, did I save? Repeat about 3 or 4 times until you're finally convinced.
Until you've finally developed the OCD you crave.
Yep. Alrighty, let us ascend.
What a fabulous bat.
Oh, hell yeah. I am liking this color scheme. L'amour. Now, technically speaking, you can also use the spike armor here to make things slightly easier, but I think it applies more to when you find the inverted castle. Because obviously all the spikes are on the ceiling, and they're on the floor in the inverted castle, so just for the sake of making it simpler to traverse, sometimes you may want to have the spike breaker armor just for that section. Right, so there's actually 2 relics we can find here, if I'm not mistaken. I think one's actually behind the door to Aurochs, and the other one is where the sword card is.
Right.
So we'll pay a visit to Aurochs first, because I think we're probably overdue a boss fight at this point. Yep. Hi, Aurochs. I've come to raid your belongings.
Hello there. I've come to tickle your peach.
Alright. Big green meanie time. Just wait for him to finish transforming, and then... hit him with the
Daddy,
dark shield.
no. I've been a good boy.
Oh, he's particularly spicy. It'll take more than 1 dark shield to kill him.
Multiple dads were used in his destruction.
He had 2 dads, bless.
Ironically, they went to heaven. He's going to hell.
Yeah, he wasn't a particularly nice boy, that one.
No.
Whee! Gravity boots. More movement tech is what we like to see. Although now that we got the bat form, we don't necessarily need it, but it does let us go vertically a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so next stop is further to the right, and then where the sword familiar is. And hopefully we'll find something nice there. I think there's a save point literally right here, so I should probably do that as well. Whoop. Apparently not quite yet. I have run out of mana. I think I actually have a mana prism, though. Hold on. Have a quick look here. Mana prism. Yay! I'll just go ahead and use that and re-equip the Dark Shield. Now, the trouble is, the speedrunners will probably consider what I've just done there sacrilege, because you always try and keep the mana prism for the very off chance that you happen to come across a duplicator later on, but just for the sake of speeding things along here a little bit, and just making sure I'm not just waiting around, I'll opt to use it now. Ow, my head. Yes, using the wing smash when you go into the door will likely give Alucard brain damage, so be careful about that.
Yeah, but isn't he, like, undead?
Yes, but he's still got a brain.
I mean, he's half human, so...
Yeah, that too. Even the undead aren't immune to a bit of discombobulation.
Probably worse for them, because they can't heal from it.
No, that's true. I mean, I'd also argue that just because you're a vampire doesn't necessarily mean you're dead either. Like, especially if you're born sort of half human and all that malarkey. Right, what have we got here? Cube of Zoe! I think the Cube of Zoe is the one that lets us get things from candles.
Ah.
$1,000 dues! Oh, is that actually just infinite? Holy shit, it actually is. That's amazing. Right, so... let's open the way over here. And we can actually go back to the alchemy labs from here, because there's another relic spot we can go to. There's actually 2, if I remember rightly. So, a little bit more backtracking from here will lead us to that. fastest way down the stairs, just dive kicking from a great height.
Wouldn't recommend you do this in real life.
No, not unless you want to lose your shins, your knees, your ankles, and possibly other things besides.
Honestly, after you pass 30, if you try this, upon reaching the ground floor, you'll just disintegrate.
No, I'm pretty sure your knees would just give up almost on instinct before you even had the chance to do it as sort of like a survival tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Let me in. Thank you. Right, so the first relic spot we can check is literally just up here where we fought the first boss. Power of Mist. Ah, that's the one that says use Mist form indefinitely. Okay. Probably not particularly helpful at the point of the game that we're at now, but I suppose it's handy to have. I mean, we have Flight to begin with, and you only technically need Mist for, like, the Mist gates, which the regular version does just fine. But if you want to, like, avoid attacks, it's very handy, which we'll probably use for the Richter and Dracula fights, since they have area-wide attacks that we can't avoid otherwise. And I think there's another one literally just after this area. Yep, right up here. All the turkeys. Which are actually fake, because that's how the opt to stop you from getting all the sub-weapons ever. Because you can literally just make a stop over there and just grab whatever you want and just trivialize the game from there. Alright, so next up from here... Well, actually, with this, we should be able to circle all the way back round to the caves again and actually be able to fight the succubus, because now we have Flight, we can actually get into the door sensibly. But because now we have Flight, we can also go to the castle entrance, and there's a couple of spots over there we can now check.
Okay, yeah.
Which were previously closed off to us before. Random pentagram, why not? Probably try and wing smash through these sections. Seems we don't have wolf form, we can't just press dash and go super duper quickly. At least not yet.
No.
Now, there's an even funnier preset you can use, which, rather than the preset that I'm using, where it literally just shuffles around like the relics and the random drops and things like that, there's a preset called Adventure Mode, which literally makes it so that a relic can appear anywhere where a regular item you would find on the floor would be. So for that one there, you can literally find anything anywhere, and you could potentially find like a progress critical relic, like in the most obscure spot imaginable. It's quite funny, actually. Fairy Scroll, I think that's the one that shows you the name of enemies. Yep, so we finally know what we're actually fighting, but unfortunately it's not really worth much to us right now. What we are looking for, ideally, is the Holy Glasses. Which, if it's not over where Succubus is, it might be over in the last spot in the library we haven't checked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's one of my farming spots whenever I'm in need of gemstones. I just sit there with the dual sword and just keep attacking those until they drop me all the valuables possible. Alright, now we're back here. Have a sneaky peek and see if there's anything behind the waterfall as well, because usually over there you get the secret boots, which is one of the most useless items imaginable, because it just literally makes your sprite like 1 or 2 pixels taller. That's literally the entire point of it.
For what reason?
I don't think it actually has any gameplay purposes whatsoever. I think it's just like one of those vanity items that they throw in there just to say, hey, look what we can do with our engine. Out of my way, Toads, I've got a date with Succubus. Alright, is it this one or is it the next one? Next one. Should probably actually save first, just in case. I have every confidence it won't go tits up, but it's more just to make sure, just in case the controller decides it doesn't want to play ball again. Up and away! There might be some fun items here, because there's a bunch of vases that usually contain like meal tickets and library cards and things like that, but obviously they're all going to be various things. So it could be something fun in here. Covenant Stone. What's that again when it's at home? Ah, never mind. It's just a random sellable ring. I was got excited then and thought it might have been a Ring of Vada. Alrighty. Let's go fight Succubus. Nightmare.
Ah, yes, I remember this.
Mother! Did I do this too early? Nope. Just in time.
Darkling, I smell your blood. You're a vampire?
You are blood.
I am entirely blood. It's a
That's
very
strange.
serious medical
That
condition.
beauty. You're the son of Lord Dracula.
Hell yeah, I am.
Death in the
Do you not see this
dream world
swank-ass
will set
cape?
Your soul wandering for eternity, demon.
Wait, I beg of you.
I think she enjoyed that a bit too much.
Can we get another take on that, please?
Keep the moan in, though. Boring mask. I get the feeling this is indeed the holy glasses we have been seeking. Oh yeah, he'll be where the sunglasses currently are. Sees beyond magical curses. That is precisely what we are looking for. It will gimp our stance something fierce, unfortunately, but it's alright. We'll just have the sunglasses for Richter and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so what would be our best way to get to the main part of Dracula's castle? Probably via the portal near Aurochs, if I'm not mistaken. So if we ascend the stairway and then make our way back to the clock tower, we should be able to get there via that direction. Now what I'm half expecting is, because obviously we got like a majority of the movement stuff, depending on where the lad relics are, I reckon the next part of the game should probably go by a fair bit quicker than it has so far, because we are approaching the 2.5 hour mark now and we haven't even made it to the inverted castle yet.
Wow. Doesn't really feel like 2.5 hours.
No, it really doesn't, especially when you're sort of like getting in the zone and sort of thinking, okay, I haven't got this yet, where the hell is it? And then before you know it, you've just spent like 2 hours in one part of the castle, when I think in the regular run I might have even gone to the inverted castle by now, because there's usually a very deliberate route you can take vanilla that usually gets you there fairly fast, whereas obviously if you're having to sort of instinctively check everywhere you can and sort of back on yourself to various areas, then it can obviously take a wee bit longer, but that's part of the fun of the randomizers, because it forces you to sort of think, what route can I actually take? Because obviously what I'm doing at the moment isn't actually working. Yes, hello again, Skelly Bobs. Yeah. Is chat having a good time so far?
It's a little bit slow today, but then again, it is, a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, people are probably only just coming back home from work and having dinner and God knows what else. I mean, that's what I usually do, albeit I usually do that at 10 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah. I mean, it would be midday in America as well.
No, this is true, But it's fine. It's always very comfy in these situations, you don't have much to keep track of, so, you're not stressing out too much over God knows what.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, lion head is what we're looking for. Alright, horse. Snakehead. Reading off Egyptian hieroglyphics. Scorpion is definitely not a worm. Ooh, there's actually a couple of relic spots here now that we can actually look into as well, now that we actually have proper flight. As long as the, bloody flea men on the bloody turkeys don't keep trying to ruin my day. Tell you what, seeing as we've got the power of mist, I can just do this and ignore them entirely.
Mm-hmm.
They want my giblets, Tom, and I don't want to give it to them.
Well, you're gonna have to fight them for it.
Yes. Alright, so that's where we go to reach Dracula's throne room, so we want to go this way. And my MP is draining fast, so hopefully we find solid ground soon. Yep, there we go. Just in the nick of time. Sword card. Decent one just for the sake of a familiar. It's one of the more powerful ones, but obviously it's not progression helping, so we don't particularly want it. And we got the Nose Demon as well. The Nose Demon isn't something you usually get, so I'm inclined to keep this fella.
It's nice to have a mascot.
Yeah, definitely. Right, if I remember rightly, there's a save point right here. Yep. Can use that to get our mana back. Ooh, hello. Gauntlet. What could this possibly be? Simply attack +5, but it does give defense as well. Oh no, it loses defense. It increases my attack with my other item. Oh yeah, that's where I'm getting mixed up. Okay, so that's literally just a gauntlet. No worries, we can ignore that then. And next stop is just up here. And then we can check the throne room stash as well for any goodies. And then we fight Richter, but not fight Richter, we fight the bubble that's controlling him. Fire of Bat. Alright, so we've got all the bat items. We haven't seen a single wolf transformation item, though. Parfait, Jewel Sword, and Sword of Hodor. So Sunstone improves after sunrise, so that's what it says on the tin. What about the weapons we picked up? So the Jewel Sword is transform enemies into jewels. It does more damage, but obviously that doesn't give us shield rod stuff. And a Poisoned Executioner's Sword, which is pretty much just weaker than what we already have, so I think we're good with what we've got so far, unless we find something later on. Right. Let's open the way up here and see what else is hiding. Gold Ring, Vorpal Blade, Tart, and Skull Shield. That's a Shield of a Knight's Crest, so that's not actually a Skull Shield. And Vorpal Blade is what we had at the prologue, actually. The crazy fire sword that has the special attack. This thing. Yeah! Very nice. I wonder if that might actually be worth using, because it attacks slightly faster than the sword we have normally, so I might use it just for this fight and then swap it back later, because I don't want to accidentally kill Richter. But having a sword that attacks a lot quicker is definitely nice to have. Right, so before we go any further, let's equip the ballroom mask. Then we say hello to Richter.
I've been waiting for you.
Answer me. Why is a Belmont planning the resurrection of Count Dracula?
Count Dracula rises but once every century, and my role is over. If I can resurrect him, then the battle will last for eternity.
That doesn't sound particularly good.
If those are your true feelings, then so be it.
There we go, there's the orb. Sorry, Richter, I'm going to try my best to ignore you. Of course, he does make it very difficult. Hey, there we go.
You've defeated me, but all is not yet lost. The resurrection of Count Dracula is at hand.
Wet my whistle a bit. And now we can invert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, what have I done? Oh, blah, 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 blah. She's like, yep, ignoring all of that.
Go have a Netflix series and sit up.
I actually wonder where that's going to go with Richter, because obviously there's nothing stopping them from going the route of him getting controlled by Shaft and having Alucard come over there to rescue his ass. Because obviously you could be saying, oh yeah, I want to revive Dracula, and it just turns out Dracula was alive this entire time. They could play into that quite effectively, I reckon.
Yeah, the end of the first Netflix series had a few neat original things that kind of left me wondering how things are going to play out. I haven't actually watched the trailer for the Richter series. I'm kind of wanting to go in there fresh.
I mean, from what I saw of it, it does genuinely look good, so I'm very excited for what it could potentially bring. Right. What we got over here then? Metal. Whacker knife. A diamond. I wonder if there's an actual diamond. Because we know what the diamond is, and obviously the diamond's going to be something else here.
Ah, yes, the origin story of Richter Belmont set during the events of the French Revolution, Castlevania Nocturne, 28th of September, 2023.
Ah, so they're doing that one first, and maybe they'll do like later seasons that focus on like Rondo of Blood, perhaps. Ooh, interesting. Right. Now, in the inverted castle, I don't think there's that many actual relic spots, so I get the feeling the Vlad items might be fairly concentrated. But of course, we won't know until we've had a good looky. Darkblade. Is that anything? Sword forged, a sword forged by elves. Okay. That's just a regular sword then. Nothing to write home about. Right. So I know where one Vlad item normally spawns, so we can go ahead and fight the Darkwing Bat first, I think. Luminous, is that anything? Slices cleanly through enemies, what does that mean? Ah, it's like the Chrysogrim Light. Okay, that might actually be worth using. Sweet as, okay. So if I spam the button, I can almost get the Chrysogrim. So if I put my track and field gaming hands on, I should be able to make that thing far faster than a Chrysogrim, but probably a little bit too much dexterity that I'm willing to give. But I can do that.
So for people who aren't familiar with Symphony of the Night, what's our goal now to reach the ending?
Alright, so we need to find the remaining Vlad relic. So of course, before the tracker went doolally because of having to reset on account of the controller, we'll probably find the remaining 4 Vlad relics we need here.
Okay.
So, essentially, normally the Vlad relic drops off specific bosses, but of course they could also just be random relics at this point. So we need to check them, as well as the handful of relic spots that exist inside of the inverted castle. So that is our goal now, just to travel the length and breadth of the inverted castle to hopefully find what we're looking for. Right, let's go ahead and put on Dark Shield power again, because I do quite like that, to be honest. So Darkwing Bat is usually one that drops such a relic. And then there's also the creature, Medusa. Who are the other ones? Death is also one. And... who was the fifth one? I think it's Beelzebub. Or Beelzebub, as he is called in the localization here.
Well, alright.
So, seeing as Medusa's like right next door, we're going to go ahead and see her first. Well, that's rude. We've been cursed. Well, at least they don't do much damage. Still very inconvenient. Might actually have an uncurse I might be able to use. Have a look. Yep, there we go. Let's quickly use that. Go for here. And let's go find Medusa. I thought I got cursed again for a second. I was about to be very upset.
Poison's fine.
Kingstone. Pretty sure we found that like 5 times now. Yeah.
You must stop tempting me with your riches.
I know, right? Especially since it had the same skin as the Ring of Vardar, I believe, at that moment. Alright, Medusa time.
Oh wow, I actually remember this.
Aha! Dark Shield prevails once more. Well, River Vlad. I don't think it's the same one she normally has, but it's a very similar one. Right, so...
So those items that drop the relics, they're not going to be, like, in disguise.
No, they won't be in disguise. They'll always be somewhere where they normally go, or they'll be, like, on one of the bosses that usually has a Vlad relic. So
Okay.
we might find the one of the Vlad pieces, like, just out in the open again, like we did with the first one. But considering there's not that many in the inverted castle, we're sort of starting to run low on places we can actively check. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because obviously it narrows it down, but it does mean that we probably got to go through a fair amount of the inverted castle before we get all 5 pieces. I wonder if I should fight the fake trio just for fun.
Up to you, man. It's your run.
It could be fun. To fight fake Trevor, fake Cypher, and fake not appearing in this film. Whoop. I forgot that's also where the Spike Breaker room is. Thankfully they don't do infinity damage, so we'll be alright. Quick switcheroo is all we need. And that gives us Tearfing. Is it actually Tearfing or is it something else? Sword of the English Navy. Okay, so it isn't, but it's still not any good for us. Right. Let's put the Dracula tunic back on. And let's move on. This place might be a bit tough to traverse as well. Significantly bigger than the crows. Which also makes them infinitely more annoying. Oh yeah, and then you got these imp bastards that lock you into an attack animation. Come on, let me go. Oh no, it wasn't Beelzebub that has it, it's Akmadan. Which, actually, thinking about it, we're exactly where we need to be for that one.
Hey.
Brilliant. Okay. Let's check in with Akmadan then. Holy Sword. Is that a thing? Cross Hill, strong versus undead. Brilliant. Okay. Might come in handy later, potentially. Oops. I forgot those guys just deposit their lower house and upper house at a moment's notice.
Remember that there were 2 Cthulhus in that one room?
Yeah, they were very busy with the Elder Gods. It was like they'd gone for like the gacha method for pulling for the old ones, so they pulled Cthulhu twice. So it's unfortunate they got a dupe, but what can you do? Alrighty, Akmadan, who is usually considered one of the easiest bosses in the whole video game. Because he is very much non-threatening for the most part.
Wee, Spoon!
Beam! Of course, with Randomiser going on, might be a wee bit trickier until that happens.
Until a bat flies into him at Mach 2.
Just rips a hole in his stomach and you just see the camera pan into the hole. Cinematic victory. Alright, so what does he actually give us? Because this is usually a relic, but we instead get the Spirit Orb, which I believe now shows us how much damage we're doing, which is worthless. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know how much damage the Dark Shield's actually gonna do now whenever we use that special attack, so I suppose that's something. Yeah, I mean, damage ain't too bad. I mean, this is usually... I would say this is probably above par than what you normally get. Oh god. Frame rate, stay with me here. The PS1 cannot handle death animations of this magnitude. Annoying bastards. Why can they walk on spikes that I can't unless I wear a specific piece of armor?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Up. 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 Come on. Yay. Just about squeezed it out. Wonderful. Right. I'm pretty sure we already have one default portal that will take us back to near where the throne room is. So we could go that way to get to the creature, but I actually think it might be faster to do it this way. Because I think we could also pay a visit to Death as well while we're in this general vicinity.
Ray says, I got the soundtrack for Soten on vinyl a few weeks back.
Ooh, is that an official one?
I'm not entirely sure.
That's pretty sexy if so.
Yep, official through Mondo.
Way. It's pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. I just wish I had a vinyl player in order to make use of something like that, but alas, I do not. Let's go via the Colosseum. Oh, this happened. Werewolf is now a normal-ass enemy. I'm pretty sturdy, as it turns out. Right. Go in here. Now, I'm wondering if, because of where the Nose Demon card is actually now in the game, I think I know where it normally is. So I'm going to have a quick look and see if I can find it over in that location. There we go. Took a minute. There we go. Right, what's in here? Is that an actual Ring of Vada? Oh my god, if that is an actual Ring of Vada, that's actually cracked. Increases overall strength. I think that is the honest to god Ring of Vada. Very nice.
Well, damn.
Very nice indeed. Well, I mean, we didn't get... It wasn't a relic like I suspected originally, but, you know, I would say that is almost infinitely better.
Well, looking at this, we only need 2 more parts of that, is that right?
We need 3. So we've obviously got the one that we got before the tracker went doolally, and we picked up one earlier from Medusa.
Okay.
Alright, time to fake the fake trio just for a laugh. They will not stand up to the might of the Dark Shield. Grant, get down from there. Down goes Trev, and down goes Cypher. Nice and easy. Oh! Okay, they actually dropped a Vlad piece. Okay. I was not expecting that, because normally they don't drop shit. So, all of a sudden, like, all bosses are on the table. Alright, so this changes things a little bit, because now I have to actually look at where all of the bosses are. And actually look into beating all of them. So, let's save over here first. There we go. Right. So we want to go to the clock tower, and I think we make our way towards Beelzebub from there, and then we can go back on ourselves and fight Death, and then fight the creature. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. I wonder if there's actually anything down here. I don't think there's usually relics down here, but let's have a look. Sirloin of beef. And the Iron Fist. Okay, so 2 mostly worthless items. That's okay.
Yeah, it is a bit weird that Symphony isn't on Switch yet.
Yeah, that's like one of the places I'd expect it to kind of be, to be honest with you, but I don't know, maybe the Switch just doesn't have the hardware for it. I mean, it was like a PS1 game, so it would have to be one of the collections like in Requiem or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. What do you mean it doesn't have the hardware for it?
I don't know, because obviously PS1 it operates on like different chips and things like that, and the Switch just might not be compatible with it. You know how Sony likes to be with like their incredibly unique processors that only seem to work in like very, very specific ways that they desire.
I got really defensive there for no reason, I apologize.
Oh no, that's alright.
For what you say, someone set us up the take.
What do you mean Nintendo can't handle a PS1 game?
Good day to you fanboys, how are you?
It's bloody gremlins again. Ooh, axes. Very handy. Right, save point here. And then we go fight Beelzebub. Oh, he's angry. Oi. Shield Rob. Thank you.
Not being the Lord of Flies now. Get a job. This guy always reminds me of that one YouTube user. I think it's Garimon47. He used to do like top 10s of various stuff, and one of them was like crazy horror bosses or whatnot in video games.
I see. I was going to say, how does the Lord of the Flies remind you of that? But that actually makes sense. Hey, there we go. Nothing the Dark Shield can't handle. Alright, what do we get? Just a health up. I suppose it'll be handy, but we're after Vlad relics. I get the feeling there might be one back here. Never mind, it's a sprite card.
More like a spite card.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Now, one thing I'm actually fearing is that if I use because there was one spot in the regular castle that I haven't been to yet, which is the highest point in the long library. I may end up finding that the library card is like literally right there, but seeing as we're in the inverted castle, I'll explore as much of this as I can. And then if it turns out to be there, we can just use one of our many library cards to go pay a visit.
So, which boss are we angling after now, mate?
Probably the well, actually, we can probably do the creature later, but we can go ahead and find Death, I think, pretty easily, so we're gonna try over there.
Okay.
Now, the only other thing as well is that the thing that we're seeking might actually be where Galamoth lives. And if that's the case, we're gonna have to fight a boss like Galamoth with, without the usual tools we have that trivializes it, which could get a bit dicey. So I'm not looking forward to that if that turns out to be the case. I like that the thing over there is called Cthulhu and not the Malachi things we were fighting on our way through Olroc's quarters.
I was gonna say, what?
Like, they're obviously the squid-headed dudes, why aren't they called Cthulhu? But then again, there's quite a few I would say there's probably quite a few translation errors, but a lot of the games around about this age kind of were, because obviously importing stuff from like Japanese developers and the likes was a very much a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, health up. Alright, so we can go to the caves from here, and there's two bosses we can actually fight. One being Death, which is one of the ones that normally has a Vlad relic. And the other one is a... Well, the other one is Doppelganger again, so we get to have our rematch with him. But if any boss can drop a Vlad piece that normally doesn't, then we're going to need to make sure we pay a visit to them. Just to prevent us from potentially missing out. Yeah, I'm just thinking what we're missing at the moment. We're missing 2 wolf relics. We're missing one of the fairy cards. And we're missing the regular demon familiar card, I believe. And then the 3 Vlad pieces. So there's about 7 or 8 relics that we can get. And 2 of them will be Vlad pieces.
Which ones are necessary?
You need all 5 of them. So, all of them are necessary to a degree, but some are more powerful than others in terms of like the raw stats they give.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always worth considering if like you're going through random and you find one of the really good Vlad relics early on. It can be very handy.
I mean, out of the items you mentioned, there were like, what, 8? So, is it only the Vlad stuff that's mandatory?
It's only the Vlad stuff at this point, so we've got about 25% of the items which are essential for progress.
Okie dokie.
Because, I mean, we've got double jump, we've got flight with the bat form, so we've got all the movement tools we'll need. So it's just a matter of putting the remaining 2 Vlad pieces together to make our way into the final fight. Ooh, wait a minute. Is that an honest-to-goodness barrel circlet? No, restores HP by ice damage. Not quite the right one, unfortunately. I was going to say, if that was the actual one, that would have been our way of taking out Galamoth easily.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not to be, actually. While I'm thinking about it, there's a couple of spots here I should probably check before going to see Death. Which is where the oarsman stuff usually is in the regular castle.
Not a fan of this music.
Too haunting? Or just a
Yeah,
bit boring?
a little bit too haunting.
Fair enough.
What are our thoughts on Nocturne? I haven't watched the trailer. I'm trying to go in as, fresh as possible.
I mean, the first series that we got, the first Netflix series that we got, was obviously very good. So I have every confidence it's going to be good, really good quality watching. But of course, I'm not entirely sure what to expect. So I'm looking forward to like what they end up doing, because obviously they did a lot of character liberties with some of them to make them a little bit more, compelling, like with Isaac and Hector and guys like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with some of the other, what would otherwise be minor characters.
I've seen a bit of discourse about how twinkish fucking Richter looks, and I guess that's just to, contrast him with Trevor.
And I mean, he's young in that point as well, so he's not going to be like a rugged individual just yet. That will have to wait until at least Rondo of Blood, maybe even Soten era.
Yeah.
So, he'll probably get there in his own time, but, it fits where he is at the time.
Hopefully it gets multiple seasons like the first Castlevania show did.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since Richter has multiple games you can take from, so I'm hoping that they do the other games in the series as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now we can go over this way towards Death via Doppelganger. And we can get the spooky music out of here.
It says here on Wikipedia for Nocturne, it is based on... Well, it's adapted from Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night.
Ah, okay, so I'll probably take from both then, but whether they spread it into multiple seasons, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. No, I would like to very much keep the holy water. Wait, give me back the holy water. Thank you.
No, it's mine now.
He was guarding it with his life. He really did not want me to have it. Or the axes. I'll take axes. Is that an honest-to-God duplicator? It is an honest-to-God duplicator. Brilliant. Okay, so we can now actually do duplicator shenanigans. So we've picked up a bunch of stuff we can actually use with this. So we could use the cross shuriken. And we could also probably use... I guess we could use the power of Sire. Power of Sire is pretty damn strong. It also means we've got like infinite potions, infinite meal tickets, infinite library cards. It's going to be pretty smooth sailing from here on out. So we may have our means of being able to fight Galamoth with this. Just for the sake of some... Actually, can I just spam Power of Sire and be okay? I'm not sure what that's going to do to the frame rate, but we'll find out.
That was that discourse about Rondo of Blood's art style.
Is there discourse? I wasn't entirely familiar if there was or not, to be honest.
Forge yet again in the chat says, I remember hearing somewhere that Japan looks at Rondo the way we look at the Zelda CDR games, but I don't know how true that is.
That's kind of hilarious to think about, I won't lie, but yeah. Oi, get back down here. He does not want to be Power of Side. Ouch. Stun lock him! Wahahaha. He stood no chance. Yeah, Power of Sire might be a bit too fiddly for regular use, but we'll see what else we got. I think we can use like javelins or something like that.
Fair enough. What the hell is happening in this room?
Octopus Tea Party! It's a Splatoon 3 gathering. I wonder if Cross Shuriken High Potion would be the play here. That way I can keep my health topped up at all times. Ah, we have finally found the wolf transformation after all this time.
Oh, woo.
Indeed. I'm just going to ignore all these squid dudes. Save myself some valuable time and frame rate. There we go. Right. Let's go back into where Power of Sire is. And where was... Elixir. There we go. That's the ticket. So there we go. We now have infinite max healing. Wonderful. It does make it difficult to break that ceiling though, so, what can we throw up there? Do we have like a javelin? Maybe a blocker knife? Let's try the blocker knife. That might do the trick. Not quite. Okay, maybe we should probably get an actual weapon for this. Just so we can actually get up there. There we go. Alright, let's go back to Javelin. And where was the Cross Shuriken? There. Go back to those. Yeah, it's very rare I get to actually use the duplicator, but the randomizer obviously helps in seeing those weapons a lot more often. Oh, bloody hell, of course. Obviously, since I'm not using a shield anymore, it's actually quite perilous. But we do have the elixirs still, so I'll maybe equip that again. If I can find a damn thing. Hey, what? There we go. That's the ticket. Just moonwalking while throwing shurikens around. The feeling of immense power.
I haven't actually got a run myself. What about you, Bob, besides this?
I mean, obviously when I first discovered it, I did a couple, but Symphony of the Night is like the only like randomizer I have like actual experience with. Oh, Ring of Vlad. That means we only need one more Vlad relic, and then we can take the fight to the final boss. So I wonder if... Oh no, we don't have the... I don't think we have the Wolf Dash yet, unfortunately. And the nice thing as well is that using potions does give you a brief moment of invincibility, which can be nice for the sake of traversal. Especially if you spam it, you can just dash through the majority of things. There are some things you obviously can't, but it is incredibly handy if you just want to go through something that's otherwise just nonsense. Right. Let's see here. We'll use the save point here, and then I think, before we see death, I'm not sure if there's a relic spot where we fought Succubus, but I'm in half a mind to go check. And then, now that we've got, like, infinite items, I'm also very confident in being able to go all the way down to take on Galamoth, so I'm going to do that as well, unless we literally find the next Vlad relic where death is. Like, that would be the only thing that would have me not to do that, because he doesn't have a Vlad relic in himself, but he does guard what is normally the Poison Mist power-up, so there's every chance that might be a Vlad relic, and indeed the last one we need to beat the game.
Right.
So the trouble is, Galamoth is notorious for just being made of hit points, hits like a truck, and is just generally not a very, very nice person at all.
Oh, okay, I'm a bit silly. I was thinking the Vlad relics were the things at the top. No, they're the penultimate set near the bottom.
Yeah, they're the one on the second to last row. And of course, we've got one, but that was before the tracker went doolally. So the last one we need, I believe, is the eyeball.
Yeah, so just imagine the fingernail or whatever it is colored in.
Yep. All that for a bag of peanuts. Alright, let's go fight death. It was significantly more PG compared to the Netflix version.
Oh, yes. Someone should mod in his voice lines from the Netflix show into this.
Oh, that would be incredible.
That is, enter the room, you stupid cunts.
I would actually put a considerable donation into just getting Castlevania Symphony of the Night the Death slander mod. I would love that to be an actual thing.
Just have it pop up at random points throughout the run.
Yeah, he just taunts you whenever you fight a boss.
Like he's fucking Gruntilda or something.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Oh, that would be incredible. You know what? I want that actually more than I think is reasonable now they've mentioned it. I very much want that to be a thing. Alright, so let us go to the Combs of the Cata. Is it pronounced catacombs or catacombs? I'm never quite sure.
I've always pronounced it catacombs.
Same here, but I've heard of people pronouncing it coombs, and I'm not entirely sure why. And it makes me feel like maybe I'm the one that's missing something.
Oh, I'm catacombing!
Oh god.
And that's why you pronounce it catacombs.
Yes. Okay. You know what? That is my headcanon now. I feel a lot better not thinking it's pronounced the other way now. Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Good old holy water. Alright. Let's fight death. Hi, death.
So, you've made it this far. In the name of your father, cease this foolishness.
Not while there's a breath in my body.
And take that damn cape off. You look ridiculous.
I'll feast on your soul this night.
He turned into a Gradius boss, and now he's exploding.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Richard Armitage's travel was pretty perfect.
Alright, fairy card. Alright, we're narrowing down the list of relics at this point. I'll laugh so much if it just turns out to be why I haven't checked with the library card yet.
What are you saying to me? What language is this?
It's the nose demon, but it's like dubbed over by the Japanese voice actor for Kazuma Kiryu. I would love that. I'm not sure if there's actually anything of interest up here, but, you know. I've already been proven wrong on one thing, so now I'm thrown into doubt on everything.
Just in your heart. You've got like 175 of them, that's a lot of trust.
That's a lot of second opinions. I wonder if they have like a Senate. It's just like so many hearts and they make a vote of what to follow. Alright. We have plenty of mana, so I'll just go ahead and mist form for all this nonsense. If I can find another mana prism, that would be really good. Because then we'd have infinite mana as well. See, this is exactly why you don't use your mana prisms randomly. If you get a duplicator, you're gimping yourself out of free mana for the rest of your days. Alright, I think the portal is somewhere around here. Should be behind this door.
I'm looking up Richter's VA for Nocturne here. I can't really say I've watched a lot of stuff he was in.
What was he in?
Let's see. Film. Don't recognize any of these. He was a character named Dexter Arnold in Holby City.
I don't watch Holby City, so yep, definitely not one I'm aware of.
He was Hugo in Killing Eve.
Nope.
Here, he's done a bit of theatre. He was the role of Jeff in the Dark Pictures anthology The Devil and Me.
Okay, I've not heard of that, but part of me feels like I should know.
But it's the people who made Until Dawn and Man of Medan.
Oh, right, that series. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Hey, Carex. We're actually on the home stretch here, mate.
Well, hopefully. Otherwise, it's going to be like the last relic spot I check, which probably adds about another half hour to our journey.
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I did put an estimate as half an hour just to account for the average, but of course, this being one of the more complex seeds means we're having to do a fair amount of travel.
Well, due to the schedule change, there's nothing on after this, so it's not like you're holding anyone up.
No, this is true. It does a lot to relieve the pressure in that regard, otherwise I'd probably be sweating just a wee bit. Opal.
Yeah, I never really looked into the Xenoblade 1 cast background and whatnot.
Yeah, because it feels like they probably got voice work elsewhere, because I remember, like, in particular with, like, Final Fantasy XIV, when they were getting to, like, Heavensward and the like, they got a lot of actors who were in Game of Thrones as well in there, so I'm wondering if they'd, like, have any previous or even current things that they've done. I know the voice actor for Shulk, I believe he voices Rane Senna, and I think he might also voice Grahatir.
Holy shit. Shulk's VA was actually Tintin in the video game version of that one CGI film.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that was actually quite good as well. Yeah, I'll tell you what, while you're on Shulk's page, was he in fact the voice actor for Grahatir?
What's that, mate?
Final Fantasy XIV.
Let's have a look here. Video games. Scrolling down. He was Pippin Tarupin.
Oh, there, that's right, he was Pippin, one of the Lalafels. So who was I thinking is Grahatir then, if not Shulk?
I don't know, he was also Arun Senna in Endwalker.
Yep, I recognize that one. So he was Pippin and Rana, okay. Hey, we're at the point of the game now where we find the different flavored blood skeletons that get up significantly quicker than their red counterparts.
Adam was in Holby City as well.
Ah, okay. That's quite crazy. Richter and Shulk met in Holby City and Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
Oh, small world.
Mm-hmm.
Nunchaku. A very unique weapon, as it turns out. I don't think there's anything quite like them, so whenever you're looking at a randomizer, they won't be randomized with other weapons in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Kyrix is saying Shulk is Pippin, Fiora is Tataru.
Ah, that's kind of cute, I won't lie. Right, so seeing as we're about to fight the galactic behemoth known as Galamoth, I'm pretty sure... Will the cross shuriken be our strongest weapon for this, or do we have something slightly more powerful we can throw at him? Javelins are stronger. Just going through them all here, just to make sure we've got the right tool for the job. Ooh, Flame Star! That'll be the one then. Right. Here we go. Got our elixirs, we got Flame Stars. We just need to spam both to Unholy Hell and make sure we don't die. Pretty much like that.
I'm big and intimidating.
Alright, I think if we get behind him here, we could just continuously strike his head, and he will be stun locked. Might take a bit of time, because of course he has 9,999 health, but considering each of his shurikens is doing well over 100 damage, it shouldn't take too long.
Okay. Oh, and then there's also a character called Amaric, who is voiced by Blake Ritson, who plays Alvis in Xenoblade.
Ooh, very nice. Emmerich is the best husband. He's like one of the only like nation leaders that like actively like invites you to dinner and like does all sorts of nice things for you and isn't just expecting you to go save the world or anything like that.
I'll pretend I understood what any of that means.
Basically, he treats you like a human being and not as a tool for defeating otherworldly threats.
Oh, that is ironic.
Speaking of eyes.
Yeah, baby!
Alright, so there we go. We now have all of the Vlad relics.
Let's go finish this sucker.
Yes, indeedy. And with the duplicator in hand, we've got just a tool for the job. It's bloody ironic, though, that it was behind Galamoth that I was dreading it, and then suddenly the duplicator of all things just falls into my lap. You can't plan it much better than that. It's almost like the seed knows, although I'm willing to bet it was just purely by chance.
No, we have more Kyrex. The actual tracker went down at one point to do some tech issues, so we have them all. It's just only showing 4.
Yep, you can see them all here. Heart, tooth, rib, ring, and eye. And we're only actually missing 2 relics in total, so we've had to pretty much traverse the entirety of the game in order to get what we need. Although we don't have to fight the creature. We don't have to go into the reverse library at the very least. So there's a couple of places we avoid having to go through. Oh god, the frame rate. Terminus Est. That looks decent. Could that be the legendary Chrysogrim? No, it's the Sword of Ancient Rome. It just looks like the Chrysogrim. Okay. Never mind. But I shouldn't be too bothered, really, because we already have the duplicator, so we've already got, like, arguably one of the strongest things in the game. Yeah, we are very much good to go. Just need to get there. Yeah, those Ice Maidens really hog up all the processing power for their death animation.
Yeah.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, I did have the portal open to the Aurochs quarters, so it should be fairly easy to get back to the clock tower from here. And we're looking for Goathead. There you are. And our faithful nose demon friend, who's been with us since the beginning. He will be there for the end as well. Yeah, these flaming stars, pretty damn powerful, as it turns out. It's not until you get the duplicator that you learn to truly appreciate their might. Bum, 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 bum. I wonder what the music for Dracula is going to wind up being. It'll probably be something really ridiculous, because there's a couple of tunes I've yet to hear that might potentially wind up being Dracula's theme, which could be quite funny.
Let's go caramel dancing.
Okay, not quite that ridiculous. Alright. Here we go. Alright, get me in there. Of course, gotta make sure we save. Ba-dum. Righto. Let's check the other room as well, just to make sure there's nothing exciting in there. One banana!
Okay.
Thank you, you shouldn't have. The penultimate fight's coming up. And you give me a banana.
Alucard gets a banana. Potassium.
It's good for you.
I like a banana. Bananas are good. That's all the banana memes I know. Let's do this.
Yep. Fear the Bernardo's power.
You have done well in making
You have
this
gotten the
far.
banana,
I would
Alucard.
expect no less from the son of our master.
You found my lunch, thank you.
You are the one who was controlling Belmont.
Yes. I am the dark priest called Shaft. This world must be
Ray, he
cleansed
says.
in
Who's the dark
void
priest that
of
hypnotizes
chaos.
Richter and does all he can to revive Dracula?
did you make
Shaft.
Belmont lord of
You're
this
damn
castle?
right.
And it's oddly apt because he's about to be shafted.
Fire hunters have defeated evil
Why is he not
with
buff as hell,
power.
but really like ancient in his artwork?
Two
Wizards back in those days, they weren't afraid to get a bit buff.
But Belmont's
Especially like
powers
main character
supreme
figures, you
among
have to
vampire
sort of
hunters.
conform to like
None other could defeat
certain
you.
like figural norms, especially in those times.
I'm not doubting that. I'm saying there's a difference between his artwork and his in-game sprite.
Yeah, it looks like they're about 50 years difference between the two, doesn't it?
We'll see what happens.
Either that or he's just literally swole grandpa.
Another wizard's trick.
Spell of swollenness. There we go. That's shaft taken care of.
No!
My gains!
You claim to
And now
love the
I'll rip
dark.
off your actual
Go
shaft
then
and beat
dwell
you
there
there
for
for a
all
minute.
eternity.
That's raw.
But my goal is achieved. Count Dracula has come to purify this corrupt world with the searing flames of chaos.
Not a very dignified death yell.
Nah. Could be better. One take Andy's, a lot of them. Alright. Dad, if that is indeed your real name.
Father.
Well met, my son. It's been a long time.
Did you get the bread I asked for? No, but I found this banana.
I like how his first words to Alucard are like, sup.
Never been the ally
Sup,
of
kiddo?
humans. Have you forgotten what they did to your mother?
Think you I would forget such a thing? No, but neither do I seek revenge against them.
Still uttering the same nonsense. No matter. Now is the time to put aside your weak human side and join me in remaking this world!
Dracula, in the name of my mother, I will defeat you again.
Alright, bring it on. I got infinite throwing stars with your name on it.
This is so bloody iconic.
It is.
Ray says, interesting tidbit, he wasn't named Alucard, he adopted the name as an FU to his dad.
Huh. Yeah, because he's normally called Adrian, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure.
Adrian Tepish. Ha, he thought he had me. He had nothing. He's fairly resistant to the old flaming stars, as it turns out. I think maybe he has elemental resistance that I hadn't accounted for, but they're still doing damage, so I'm sticking with it.
Oh yeah, I'm despair against true form.
Egads, how is that possible?
Not the triangles.
No, not the dreaded triangles. Geometry, my one weakness. Which, ironically, is apparently a thing according to Trevor in Season 4.
Nah.
Apparently, throw any geometrical shape in front of them, they completely lose their mind. Gee, this guy is, not doing a good job at the whole dying thing. Maybe I can throw some axes at him as well. Okay, the axes do literally nothing. There we go. Hurrah! Rando done!
Trouble the soul of my mother no more.
Get me out of this random house of bullshit.
How is it that I've been so defeated?
You have been doomed ever since you lost the ability to love.
Sarcasm. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the world and loses his own soul? Matthew 16:26, I believe.
Look how the cops just like, I'm just gonna take your word for it because I've never read
Don't
the
fucking
damn
quote
thing.
the Bible at me, Dad. That's really cringe.
He was probably thinking that, like, deep down. It's just like, the word cringe hasn't even made it into, like, everyday vernacular yet, but you know that's exactly what he was
She also
thinking.
said to tell you that she would love you for all of eternity.
Lisa, forgive me. Farewell, my son.
Hey. Just a last little bit of healing.
It's sort of a good ending, even if, he's dead.
Well, I mean, you always get like, well, obviously the bad ending is if you kill Richter. Well, I think actually the worst ending is if you get the glasses from Maria and then choose to equip them, but then kill Richter anyway.
Just kind of rubbing salt in the wound there.
Yeah, just a wee bit. But then you've also got the good ending, which is where Alucard defeats the castle and Dracula proper, but then decides to seal himself away, and Maria decides not to pursue him. And then you got the best ending, which is where Maria does pursue him, but you need to get like 180% plus castle clearance or something like that. And I'm pretty sure we have done that because we didn't even go anywhere near the reverse library or any of like the left side of the inverted castle in the end.
Well, Dracula's gone. That's a win in my book.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not like, even if he sealed himself away, that he's not going to come back as Gendo Arikado
Mm-hmm.
in the old Aria and Dawn of Sorrow.
So you made it.
Alucard, I'm glad you're all right.
I'm sorry. 'Tis my fault you had to fight your own father.
Fear not. I had my own reasons for destroying him.
It must have been painful for you.
Indeed. But you must always remember that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
I understand.
Just occurred to me, I've heard that quote quite a few
What will
places
you
now
do
at this
now?
point.
The blood that flows in my veins is cursed. 'Twould be best for this world if I were to disappear forever.
I see.
Farewell then. We'll not meet again.
Alucard,
Don't you want to go after him, Maria?
Nah, he's cringe.
no.
No,
It's this
he didn't
way.
get a high enough
I can't
percentage.
ease his
He is not
torment.
goated with the sauce.
We will meet again. And on that day, maybe.
He will have a high enough
I
percentage.
see.
Let's go. Everyone's waiting for us.
Yes. Let's get out of here.
This place gives me the heebies. And there we go. That is Randomised Symphony of the Night beaten.
Yeah, pretty smooth run, all things considered, mate.
Yeah, it was a long one, but I'm definitely satisfied with how it went. I mean, I was a little bit dicey at first, considering I was using my fist for the first, like, 15-20 minutes. But then, once we got the stone sword, everything was on the up. And then it was just a matter of figuring out exactly where we need to go. So yeah, is there anything else you wish to add before we turn things around here?
Not particularly, no. It's always a treat to sit through a Soten run. Metroidvania side of the franchise is something I'm slowly working my way through. Nothing else really to comment on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's better for you now, because I think you were originally meant to be the co-com for the regular Symphony of the Night run I did with Sony Fon, but we ended up trading with Tanner, I believe. So, this is actually your first time joining me for this, but you come now from a position where you actually played the game yourself, so it's always handy.
Indeed.
Rightio, so what have we got scheduled for tomorrow then?
Coming up tomorrow is, if you just let me scroll up here, Stray, being played by myself, and then we have Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. It'll be a longer day than today. Schedules are funny things, and we will have some more schedule updates, so stay tuned to the HFC Marathons account, and we'll update you all on that as quickly as possible.
Brilliant. And I'm guessing we'll probably get the day rescheduled for what was meant to be following Soten at some point. We just need to find the best place to kind of put it.
Mm-hmm.
Rightio then. We'll just listen to I Am the Wind before we sign off proper.
Okay. Coordinator. Good spelling. Good.
Shogo Kumasaka and Yubiko Nozawa. I kind of miss the days when people sort of use like almost usernames or call signs in credits, like especially in like Sega games when you get people that are like literally just called Bo.
Or egg.
Or something just incredibly nonsensical.
I think I brought this up in an earlier run of HFC All-Stars. You know what that is, right?
What's that then?
It's because they were... sometimes other companies would come along and poach employees, so to try and get around that, they would not use their real name in the credits.
Oh, of course they'd use aliases to make sure that they don't find out who they actually are and be like, I've got a great deal for you if you come over to this side.
Eric Greedy? Sorry, that just kind of took me aback. I think the final boss from fucking Ristar is trying his hand at something else.
Oh yes, Eric Greedy, I remember him well. But no, that actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't actually think about it that way. I'm pretty sure I knew about that as well at some point, but then the actual information just went out at some point. Didn't even occur to me that is actually what was going on. I just thought they were trying to be edgy. It's just like, hey, I got a nice cool name and I do video game design.
Ray says, sometimes those nicknames were usually not consented, they weren't properly credited. Yoko Shimomura had that with Street Fighter 2.
Oh, okay. I wonder if they used this. I guess they would use the same one just to make sure, you know, they had some form of consistency if they did, like, move on from a different company and not get poached.
Yeah,
I would guess.
Yoko was the one who made Guile's theme, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a legend then.
She's the queen, after all.
Indeed. Get the lighters out.
Yes, Christopher B. Fred Fox. Fred Fox?
Fred Fox, how dare he? I find myself just riffing on credits as well in movies recently as well, because everything has to have like a post-credits thing now. So we just like look out for like particularly funny names or just random people will just remark on them.
At the end of this, Dracula will return. Yeah, we know. Every 100 years.
You know they absolutely would if it came out at a time when the Avengers was big. You know they would absolutely do that.
His MCU contract must be immense. He deals with every member, every descendant of Kevin Feige's clan.
It's one of those things where like you see all the memes about Dracula and Moon Knight. You reckon at some point they'll probably capitalize on that. It's just like, oh, there's loads of memes. It's really popular in meme culture. We should totally do a movie about it.
Come out, Dracula, you fucking nerd. Where's that money you owe me?
It's just like, look, for the last time, Dracula is not part of the Avengers. He's not part of the Avengers? That lying fuck.
Maybe the Thunderbolts, but another story for another time. All right, folks, that's going to be the end of day 5 of HFC All-Stars. Sorry for it being a shorter one today. You know how schedules can be. Once again, stay tuned to the HFC Marathons account, and we'll update you all on what's going on, you know, behind the scenes and when we fix stuff. But coming up tomorrow on day 6, it's all about cats and dogs. We got Stray and we got Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. So we'll see you then. Bye for now.
Ciao for now.